Y'all ready? Hey, you can talk. The comment section's down there if you want to be a naysayer. I dare you. I want to say something to Jennifer, former Navy. You want to know why I'm doing this on gaming? Well, Edward Snowden told me to tell you, if you don't, you're going to be wiped off. Just thought you might want to know that. Now, to the real news, because I got a bunch, folks. So much that we are going to have this fall brawl into Iron Man matches today. This will be a big show, folks. We're going to start off with a battle royal, WWE versus WCW. Right now, what in the world is going on? Guys, the signs are here. Last night, Trump had a laser on his head, folks. On his head and arm is what I'm finding out. Now, you like it, dislike my video, I don't care. All I know is civil unrest is coming and there's nothing you can do about it. That's all I got to say. And it's not because of World War III or the beast system. They've been hiding and lying to you all along. It's Wormwood. And I showed you this morning on my YouTube channel that I'm the best in the world, and all the other truthers, they say they're truthers, haven't said a dang word about Wormwood. Therefore, they're not Christians. Just thought you might want to know that. Thought you might want to know that. How many people are on here? I don't even see who's on here. I'm sure there are, because there always are. But because they want to know the truth. But some of the naysayers, like Jack Nicholson would say, you can't handle the truth. And that's what I feel. Let's go to the news. Let's start off with this. Breaking news. Enjoy, folks. And enjoy my game design.
I truly hope you'll step up, add your name to my list of supporters before.
And just found this out. George W. Bush had something to do with this last night, folks. I don't know if they were trying to scare Trump or what. But George W. Bush, the same person that was involved with the JFK Jr. shooting. Or senior, excuse me. Enjoy.
President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump lit the official White House Christmas tree on Wednesday night during a live broadcast. President President Donald Trump affirmed Christianity's sacred origins Wednesday evening, asking God to bless every American during the annual lighting of the National Christmas Tree. The president opened his remarks by thanking the National Park Service and the National Park Foundation for their work on the event, which dates back to President Calvin Coolidge in 1923 and this year featured 12 different performers or performing groups, including the U.S. Army Band. Trump thanked the performers, but singled out as very special the Dominican Sisters of Mary, a group of singing nuns from Ann Arbor, Michigan. He also highlighted students who created the ornaments decorating 56 different Christmas trees in President's Park, one for each U.S. state or territory. During the president's speech, red laser dots started popping up on his chest and face. The president went on to call Christmas a time for rejoicing with our family and friends, for spreading charity and goodwill in our commitment all over this country in all of our communities, and for giving thanks for all of the blessings in our lives. Among those blessings, he said, are foster parents, first responders, soldiers, and private citizens who step up to help their fellow man in times of need. Their families are all our families, and we thank them so much for their goodness and for the incredible job they do, Trump said of the military in particular. We ask God to watch over this nation's heroes, and to shed his almighty grace upon our nation. And we pray that America's light will shine more brightly and stronger than ever. And it will. On behalf of First Lady Melania Trump and himself, the president concluded by wishing that the season bring peace to your hearts, warmth to your homes, cheer to your spirit, and joy to the world. Merry Christmas and God bless you. Here's another shot of the laser dot on the president's shoulder. If this was part of the show, it was a very irresponsible laser light display. One viewer says this was a reflection in the bulletproof glass on the president. Or it may have been emitted from cameras using red eye reduction.
That's scary, guys. That's not the scary part. December the 1st could be the worst part of our lives since JFK Jr. What you're looking at, I'm not the only one that has seen Wormwood. Debbie had that on her YouTube channel, folks. We'll be going to that story very, very soon. First, breaking news again. Wow. I told you I had a bunch of news.
Democrats have become
It's coming out of my ears right now. Just happened. Trump's words signal great crisis and civil unrest in USA. The storm is here. Wormwood is here, folks.
party of open borders, crime, and abolishing our brave men and women of ICE and
All right.
From the past
Shoot.
to the present,
Get it right in a
who
minute.
are supposed to be awake. Many Christians are still asleep.
That's still not right. Okay, we'll get it right in a minute.
There are many things which are taking place in this day and age, and many people are still sleeping, including those who are supposed to be awake. Many Christians are still asleep. Many of the remnant are still asleep, but they don't realize that they are asleep. Trouble is about to come upon God's people, and trouble is about to come upon the world. There's a crisis that is coming. But while the crisis is making its way into the world, many people are not even able to recognize the signs which are pointing to the final crisis of Earth's history. Before I proceed any further, I want to share with you a breaking news that President Donald J. Trump has spoken. This is very significant because it is pointing us to something that is about to take place. First, I'm going to play for you a clip, and this has to do with the migrant crisis that is taking place right now in North America. Secondly, I'm going to play another clip which President Trump spoke with his own words, saying, and I quote, "This is the calm storm. You see, many people didn't know what he meant then, but now, as time goes by, that statement of the calm before the storm is becoming much more clearer than ever before. And I'm going to prove that to you. So pay close attention, open your ears, set aside all distractions, and observe what's taking place right now, because your life depends on this message.
If they have to, they're going to use lethal force. I've given the okay. Yeah, if they have to, I hope they don't have to. But you know, you're dealing with a minimum of 500 serious criminals. So I'm not going to let the military be taken advantage of. I have no choice. Do I want that to happen? Absolutely not. But you're dealing with rough people. Level where we are going to lose control, or where people are going to start getting hurt, we will close entry into the country for a period of time until we can get it under control.
The entire border?
The whole border. I mean, the whole border. And Mexico will not be able to sell their cars into the United States, where they make so many cars at great benefit to them, not a great benefit to us, by the way. But at least now we have a good new trade deal with Mexico and with Canada. But we will close the border.
What would it take for you to reach that step and want to do that?
Well, I've already shut it down. For short periods.
We're talking about that one border.
No, yeah. I've already shut down parts of the border because it was out of control.
Make note, this is a migration crisis, and President Trump has just threatened to close down the borders. In fact, parts of the borders have been shut down. Now, let's play this other.
That's not all that's just shut down. They're shutting down millions and millions of flights around the world, folks. They know we've been seeing Wormwood. I'm just waiting on them to show up at the house. The Marines militia's waiting.
Clip of the calm before the storm.
Right, absolutely.
Listen to the words.
You guys know what this represents?
Well, what's the
Maybe it's the calm before the storm.
what's the storm?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm is
We have the world's great military people in this room. I will tell you that.
What storm is the president?
You'll find out.
Now, I'm going to make some very interesting points, and these points are going to directly reflect world history, and there are parallels from the past to the present. And this is something that all of you who are listening to this video, do not keep this to yourselves, because this information could save your life, and it could save someone else's life. This will let you know that it's.
Yes, he's right. Don't hide this. If you hide it, you're a coward and you're scared. I want to see if you got any balls, man. Because China's about to come in here, stick their foot straight up your ass if you don't fight back, coward.
Time for you to.
I'm sorry to be mean to you, but you come on my channel and tell me that I'm doing wrong. No, Jack, I'm smarter than the YouTube truthers out there. They're getting slapped off slowly but surely because they didn't listen to me. I told them to go to gaming and they didn't want to listen to me. You know what? For not listening to me, bye. That's the way I look at it. I'll be the last one standing, just like I've been saying. I don't care. I don't care. You're not even subscribed to me, so I don't even know why you're here. Bye.
Prepare yourself.
I know who subscribes and who don't. I put a whole list of who subscribes and who don't. Leave. Your words doesn't mean shit if you don't subscribe to me. That's the way I look at it. I'm not here for your views or your likes or dislikes. I'm here to wake your ass up. And if you're not awake, your fault. Blood is on your hands.
For a coming crisis. First, from the very beginning, when did the caravan migration crisis initiate? Well, it began early spring of this year on Sunday, March 25th, 2018. And ever since this thing initiated, it has been getting more and more worse. This caravan migration issue is not going away anytime soon. Now, keywords that I want all of you to pay close attention to is migration crisis. In fact, that is the topic in the headlines, which at this point is trending. These are the things which are trending. Migrational crisis. Keeping it simple, the next thing that you must understand is this migrational crisis is not just in North America. There is also a migrational crisis which is taking place in Europe. This migrational crisis is all sprouting all over the world. Now, if we go to the eastern plains of the earth, the following countries which I'm listing to you, which you are seeing, these countries are where...
Hey, you just think, Al, who's been giving me all the answers? Who's been doing all the talking? I'm just a speaker. CIA, ex-CIA and ex-NSA, Kevin Shipp and Edward Snowden, former Navy, John Moore, all have been right. All the other channels that everybody's been watching has been wrong. Do you know why? Do you know why they haven't come to them other channels? Just found this out. Jennifer's not even a Christian. How about that? Making fun of, and if you make fun of Christmas, you're not a Christian. Bottom line. That's all I got to say. Oh, and by the way, Obama, we're waiting on you. I'm going to enjoy you.
The majority of these migrants are flowing from to go into Europe. They're crossing over the Mediterranean. Now, here are the countries. Number one, you got Syria, then Afghanistan, Iraq, Kosovo, Albania, Pakistan, Eritrea, Nigeria, Iran, and Ukraine. All of these countries are facing a crisis. These crises are linked.
Just get this, folks. Just think about this. All the truther channels that you thought was true has been lying to you all along. Anonymous has been knocking them off because they've been lying to you all along. They ain't even told you Wormwood's here. None of them has. None of them has. Has they said anything about Wormwood? No, because they're cowards. Every one of them. Jennifer, you're one of them. You're one of them. Until you start saying Wormwood, you're not on my team. If you don't say Wormwood, you're not on my team. That's the way I look at it. Okay? I don't give a shit if you give me 40 dislikes. I'm here to bring down the NWO and the pedophiles, sexual harassment, and threats. And if you ain't down with that, the Marines militia has 2 words for you. Martial law.
With civil wars, terrorism, poverty, extreme poverty, and many more. Now, let's go to the western plains of the earth. When we go to the United States of America, what are they facing down south? Now, I'm going to read for you this article here that deals with the caravan crisis of the United States of America, which they are facing right now with those fleeing from Venezuela, Mexico, and other Latin American countries. Observe the following. The headline is Climate Change for this migrational crisis. Observe. The headline reads in bold, the unseen driver behind the migrant caravan. Climate change. Boom, right in front of you. Climate change is to blame for this. Now here's the following. First paragraph reads the following. It says, while violence...
No, CERN has to blame for climate change. Rothschilds in China is blame to climate change. Not us. We are Americans and we're going to bring down Mr. Pope Francis.
And poverty have been cited as the reasons for the exodus. Experts say the big picture is that changing climate is forcing farmers off their land, and it's likely to get worse. See, these experts are saying this is nothing, it's going to get worse. Climate change is driving people off their land. Second paragraph, it says thousands of Central American migrants trudging through Mexico towards the U.S. have regularly been described as either fleeing gang violence or extreme poverty. Third paragraph, but another...
At 9 p.m.
What's up, Not Wayne? Welcome. to my world. Camouflage news is in gaming now. You know why? Because ex-CIA told me that's how you beat the system. And they say I wasn't a genius. Buddy, I made A honor roll in school.
Tonight, my campaign team is bringing me an updated list of my supporters. I hope I'll see your name on the list.
Yeah, China's list.
Another crucial driving factor behind the migrant caravan has been harder to grasp: climate change. Now, put a pause on everything that I just read for you right now. So far, you understand that there is a migrational crisis taking place both in the eastern parts of the world.
You got to do it like I said, Pamela Johnson. All the YouTube subscribers that knows what's going on, that's awake, you have to unsubscribe to all the lie channels to stay on mine. No, I'm not telling you what to do, folks. I have to delete a bunch of channels because I'm not getting my truther channels no more because I've got all that blob out there. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. This is what YouTube is doing, and this is what I'm having to do. And I'll help you out. When you're on your telephone, you hit the middle button of the YouTube thing, okay? It shows all the channels from every 8 hours. I go look at all the news that I follow every 8 hours, folks. That's how hard I've been working, okay? And I pick the right story that needs to come out first. That's how I do it. Pamela Johnson, did you go see Wormwood that I did this morning around 1 a.m. this morning? Holy cow. That's the best video. I don't know if I can get it any better for y'all. I really don't. I'm going to try to do it again tonight. I have found a great, and the clouds were kind of covering it up, but holy cow, the thing looked like a orange blob. I saw it later. I have awesome screenshots. Good. Put them on Facebook. Hell, you know where I'm at. I got a new Facebook now. Andrew Dwayne Jackson, Calera, Alabama. And you can't make that shit up.
And in the western parts of the world. Again, keep in mind that all of this is actually a direct reflection of events which took place the exact same way back in the past, before a certain kingdom, powerful kingdom, collapsed. And ladies and gentlemen, we are in the last days of Earth's history. It's time to wake up.
Right. But the channels that I'm working with right now are real. Jennifer, I appreciate you coming on to my channel and everything, and you wanted to know why I'm doing this so crazy, and she's laughing LOL and all this other stuff. It's not really funny. You know what's so funny? You're not even awake, Jennifer. No. I thought you was, but I've never heard you say anything about Christianity or... hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Before you get mad. Or Wormwood. And y'all say y'all are awake. All you know is that the elites are going underground, not in prison. And on top of that, they're going to try to give you the chip when we're going to stick the chip straight up their ass with a bunch of guns and missiles and bombs. You have to see all the guns and bombs and missiles they got out here. Holy crap. They're beautiful.
Observe. Let's go to ancient Rome. You see, ancient Rome is also known as pagan Rome. Now, when we go to ancient Rome, it was prophesied in the book of Daniel, long before the pagan Roman Empire would even arrive on the scene, Following the kingdom of Babylon, which ruled from 605 to 539 BC, Babylon is symbolized as the head of gold in the dream of Nebuchadnezzar. After this comes the chest and arms of silver, which would represent the kingdom of Persia.
Just like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because I'm on gaming. You should get all my gaming videos, is what ex-CIA Kevin Shipp and Edward Snowden is telling me. Everything is played out just right, folks. That's all I got to say. And don't unsubscribe to the other channel. I promise you, I'm coming back to that channel. And Candace Chappell, thank you for sending me out the video. I put it out there. I don't know if you've seen it or not. And I'm going to be putting out other women's videos out there for them, because that's what they want. They subscribe to me, for crying out loud. They're scratching my back, I'm scratching theirs, bottom line. And if you don't like women dancing, then go look at men dancing in leotards.
Medo-Persian Empire would arrive on the scene and reign from 539 to 331 BC. Following the kingdom of Persia would be then the kingdom of Greece, which was led by Alexander the Great. Greece is represented as the belly and thighs of brass. Greece would rule from 331 to 168 BC. After this, the Bible prophesied that the final kingdom that would come to conquer another major kingdom would be the Roman Empire. The kingdom of Rome would conquer the kingdom of Greece. The Roman Empire is symbolized as the legs of iron. Rome would rule 68 until 476 AD. Also make note that it was during the time of the Roman Empire, the pagan Roman Empire, that Jesus Christ, the Messiah, the King of Kings, would arrive on the scene. And through the Roman Empire, through the kingdom of Rome, the devil would attempt to kill Jesus Christ. Further continuing, the Bible prophesied that the Roman Empire would not be conquered by another kingdom. That is symbolized by the legs. When you come down to the legs of this statue, this...
Nightwing, you're welcome. I'm sorry, I've got bad eyes. My left eye is pretty bad. But hey, I can see Wormwood coming with one eye, and half of them people can't even see it with two because they're still on their drugs.
Image which Nebuchadnezzar had the vision of, he saw that there were 10 toenails, just like a human being has 10 toenails. And it's prophesied that the kingdom of Rome would not be conquered
by the way, welcome back, Brandy, Nicole, to my other Facebook. Now I've got 6 Facebooks out there, thanks to Facebook trying to shut me down from shutting down pedophilia. Stony Stone, I know you came to my Facebook and tried to shut me down there too. I'm telling you, dude, we're going to bring you down. I know you don't like that we're shutting down pedophilia because you like having sex with kids, but stay away from it, buddy. Or the Marines militia is going to stick something straight up your ass.
Another. Rather, it would be divided. It would divide into 10 different kingdoms. Did this happen in Earth's history? Oh, yes, it did. And this has everything to do with the migrational crisis which the world is experiencing today, because there is a repeat of the events of world history. But this time, these events are repeating for the final time before the close of probation. Probation is closing, my friends. Let's do a quick summary of why exactly the Roman Empire collapsed. The Roman Empire was overtaken by an issue that was trending in the then known world. And
now get this, guys. WWE is doing a storyline right now about the Roman Empire is collapsing with Roman Reigns. Okay? I want you to know that right now. WWE is doing a storyline right now. They've been doing a lot of storylines of the biblical prophecy. I don't know if y'all noticed, but you better start watching what WWE is doing. No doubt, stuff is changing directly to Bible prophecy. If you did not know, Vince McMahon is not as evil as he used to be. He has cut a lot of stuff out for the children.
That issue was migration. They had a migrational crisis. Observe just a quick summary of the fall of the Roman Empire. Google can be your friend in this type of a study. You ask the question, why did the Roman Empire fall? I have the book of world history, so this confirms exactly what's in the book of world history. Here are the words. The barbarian attacks on Rome partially stemmed from a mass migration. Keyword, mass migration caused by the Huns invasion of Europe in the late 4th century. When these Eurasian warriors rampaged through northern Europe, they drove many Germanic tribes to the borders of the Roman Empire. Keywords, mass migration, Germanic tribes.
Wasn't that cool, Violet Girl? I hope you seen Wormwood in my last video. I had to break in again at 1 a.m. this morning. I am working hard for y'all guys. All I got to say is, woo! It's showtime, folks. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who is afraid of the big black bat? It's the Stinger, Scorpion, Death Dropping, the NWO.
And finally, the borders of the Roman Empire. Rome was the superpower then. The migrant crisis, which took place in ancient Rome, was also called the barbarian invasion. Because these migrants, although they were trying to look for a better land, they eventually became barbaric. They conquered the Romans. Now, these barbarians actually came in different groups, and their descendants are still around today. And believe it or not, the funny thing is their descendants now in Europe are actually facing the migration crisis. Everything is happening for a reason. God is in control. During the Huns invasions, many tribes escaped from their own habitation. These tribes are all dubbed or generally categorized as the Germanic tribes. They included the Huns, the Goths, the Vandals, Bulgars, the Franks, which today is France, as a direct result of the migrant crisis. Eventually, the Goths began to make their way into the Roman Empire, the Roman territory. The Visigoths eventually entered into the Roman territory by 376 AD. Now, I don't really want to talk too much about this. The bottom line is that there was a migrational crisis that took place before the fall of the Roman Empire. And you know what the reason was that they were fleeing from their countries? It's because of violence in their own.
I didn't hear what you said, Bruce Jones. I think YouTube said fuck you. They just told me they kicked you off for something about you wanted to smoke something. I don't know. All I got to say is you don't own YouTube. I don't own YouTube, and I have to do it the right way. Do you know why? Because we're not going left. You might run smack right into a wall with Kyle Busch.
Countries. Many of them were fleeing civil war, civil crisis. Not just this alone, but the farmers also were mourning because their land was mourning. There were food shortages back then. It's the same like today. There's violence. There's civil unrest, terrorism, hunger, and famine that is taking place. If you have the Venezuela crisis, the economy has collapsed. People are suffering. The women don't even know, the mothers don't even know what they will feed their children. Did you know that people in Venezuela, they are not even buying meat, but rather they are buying the fat of the animal. They are buying fat of the meat. Ladies and gentlemen, a crisis, a much bigger crisis is about to take place on a larger scale, because right now people are trying to look for a better land. The exact same thing that happened during the time of pagan Rome is happening right now, right before your very eyes. Observe the video that I'm showing you right now. You see, these people are migrants. This is the migration in Europe, which initiated in 2015, but now has escalated into much more barbaric migration. What you are seeing right now is presently what is happening in Europe with regards to these migrants. Desperate times will call for desperate measures. These people are now becoming barbaric. Now, I'm not demonizing these.
Harlan, I've got a new Facebook. Andrew Dwayne Jackson. Look for me. Oh, by the way, you got to comment down below before you subscribe to me. I'm on privacy on purpose. So if you're the real truther, please stand up. Please stand up. Adam Bomb is going after the pedophile rock.
Migrants at all? No. Because there are many women, many mothers, and young children, and even infants who are in need of assistance. And that is not to rule.
By the way, enjoy the Fall Brawl 4 games arena and Adam Bomb that I created. Nope, I haven't got nobody's text. You're not going to. I'm the best in the world. Remember that, Mr. S. Because I am smarter than all the fake YouTube truther channels. Because they're fake. They're fake. Ex-CIA and ex-NSA Kevin Shipp told me to go to gaming to bring down the NWO. And let me help you out, man. If you're one of the old men that likes to have sex with kids, you're going to be looking at a 45.
Away that there are many men who are also in need of help. Many good men. However, you can clearly see what spirit is at work. When you see these large groups, large movements, there is a certain spirit that is behind these movements. And when you see...
Hey, do me a favor. Shut up. It doesn't matter what you think. See ya, S.
such violence take place at the borders, you know that that is not the behavior of the Spirit of the Lord Almighty God. It's the spirits of devils which are at work. That is the reason why, right now, they are becoming barbaric. The Bible says the following words: that which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and God requireth that which is past. The Bible clearly says, look at the past. If you want to understand the future, if you want to understand where you are, look at the past. Whatever you can see in the past is what you are going to experience. The Lord God Almighty will require of the past. We should not forget history, because those who forget history.
At 9 p.m. tonight, my campaign team is bringing me an updated list of my supporters.
Is that every night at 9 o'clock? Because we could care less. Trump, you pedophile.
Are doomed to repeat it. What is next from here? When you look at the events which are taking place in North America, the Californian wildfires, different unusual weather patterns, Mass animal death. The animals are being taken away. The beasts of the field are all being taken away. All of these things are happening simultaneously, one right after the other. All of these events are pointing to one great event which is to come, and that is the Great Tribulation. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Now, let's go back to the statement that Trump had mentioned, saying, "This is the calm before the storm." And people were puzzled.
Hold on. Don't forget, Eminem said it. The elite's puppet, which Trump is the same people. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. Maybe I need to bring you to history. All the elites are friends, and that's why none of the elites is going to prison. So you might want to wake the fuck up, dumbass. I mean, how stupid are you if you think you're all going to prison? No, they're all going underground. Why do you think they built all them underground bunkers? Wake up.
"What are you talking about, President Trump?" And he said, "You'll find out." You see, ladies and gentlemen, these things are happening for a reason. These mass exodus that we are seeing happening in Europe and happening in North America at the southern border, these things are all meant to be. A civil unrest is coming to the soil of the United States of America, the superpower, just as a civil unrest broke out in the kingdom of pagan Rome. That's the reflection of world history. These things which you are seeing, which are taking place, do not take it lightly. For those of you who are watching these things, who are seeing the migration crisis that is taking place, yet you are too busy thinking about when is the next time I'm going to get high, or when is the next time I'm going to get laid, or when is the next time that I am going to get money. You, my friends, need to wake up, because probation is closing. What probation am I talking about? Listen to the Bible. "And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till..."
You're going to have to put it on my Facebook, Harlan. I do not have Messenger. I may not get Messenger until this week. Something is going on with a bunch of internet problems. Even there's a bunch of friends of mine on YouTube having problems. Just thought you might want to know that. I can't get nothing from Messenger right now. They say that I may not even get anything till December the 28th, which I'll go back to my other channel, or go back to my other YouTube channel around December 2nd or 3rd. I forgot which day I got suspended for 3 months. But I'll be coming back to that channel, and I'm staying on this one. We got to have a backup plan. I am Earnhardt, and then we're going to win the damn championship. That's all I got to say. And we're going to bring down every naysayer, every NWO, every pedophile in the world. And that's all I got to say.
"We have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads." Ladies and gentlemen, there is a work of sealing that is taking place right now. There are four angels given charge to protect the earth, to hold back the winds of strife, to hold back tribulation from blowing upon the earth and unto every nation and kindred and tongues and peoples. These four angels are told to hold back these four winds, hold back the great tribulation until God's children are sealed in their foreheads. The sealing which is taking place are for those that have the character of Jesus Christ. If you have the character of Christ Jesus, then you are going to be sealed. You either will have the seal of the living God or you have the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is the opposite of the seal of God. The mark of the beast has to do with worship, just like the seal of God has to do with worship. The beast.
And we're not ever going to take the mark of the beast because George Soros' plan wants to control you and know where you're at all times. And we're going to stick the beast straight up his ass. And your Baphomet. Because guess what, Baphomet fans? I'm going to say this again. You might want to move away from there. I think Jed would say from Beverly Hills. Whatever that show was with the country boys from Los Angeles, California. Because guess what? You have a homing device on your Baphomet goat. And Putin's going to blow it up with his smart missiles.
Is papal Rome. Papal Rome is the papacy. The papacy made a statement in which they said that Sunday is their mark of authority. They've said that over and over and over again. They have clearly stated that their mark is Sunday sacredness. Why? Because they transferred the solemnity of their Sabbath of the Lord from Saturday, the seventh day of the week, to the first day of the week, the day of the sun. Sun worship. Sun day. It's pagan. And if you look at the Paris Agreement, and if you look at the climate change movement, and about protecting our common home, this movement of the climate change, it actually has to do with Sunday sacredness. It has to do with Sunday law. The time will come when they are going to enforce a national day of rest. Initially, it will start as a national day of family rest. After this, it will then become a religious day of.
At 9 p.m. tonight, my campaign team is bringing me an updated list of my supporters.
Yeah, you wasted him. He wasted that money on that campaign, didn't he? The end is near for him and his damn Democrat piece of shit friends.
And those who do not comply and honor Sunday sacredness, that means that they are against protecting the environment and they are against humanity. Climate change deniers are soon to be demonized, but eventually, when the Sunday law is passed, when Sunday sacredness is passed, many people are going to say, well, hey, it's good for the environment. Hey, I've already been going to church on Sunday. Hey, I've already been honoring God on the first day of the week. So it's not a big deal. It's actually a great idea. I get to stay home with my family. I get to enjoy the relaxing day. So what's the harm in that? You see, my friends, when the government dictates how you worship the Lord on a pagan day also of worship, that is a red flag. And by you choosing to accept and buy into this, what ends up happening is you qualify yourself as one who has partaken in accepting the mark of the beast willingly. By accepting the mark of the beast, you trample on the law of God. By trampling on the law of God, you commit sin, and the wages of sin is death. Everlasting, eternal separation from the Almighty God. There's more that I must break down with regards to this migration issue, with regards to these climate change movements and the migrational issues. There's more that needs to be broken down. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe because there's a lot more information coming across your way. I'm cutting the video here, just a short.
Controversy 7. If you want to subscribe to him, the Controversy 7. He's awesome. All you have to put that in there, and he's the first one out there. He's African American, and he's pretty good. Much respect. He's got over 194,598 subscribers. So I like to, give out the real truthers channels because he is one of the best in the world in what he does. All right. What's the next one? I've got a bunch of news, guys. I'm telling you, y'all going to freak out. Some of the stuff you're not going to believe, but it's true. I promise you. What you've been watching on the other channels has been completely garbage. Let's see here, because I redo things and figure out what's true and what's not. Which I've got XCI and XNSA in my ear telling me what's true and what's not. All right, here we go. Breaking news on World War III. Ukraine prepares. How's that? Oh, it's a war game. Okay. So,
World War III, Ukraine prepares for full-scale military invasion by Russia. Russia could be about to launch a full-scale military invasion across the whole of Ukraine, according to the Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister. Ivan Klimpashchynsky made the grave remarks on BBC Radio 4 this morning. Presenter Ms. Hussein said, "The Ukrainian president has talked about your country being under threat of full-scale war with Russia. There are reports of an increase of military units on the border. Are there fears of an invasion?" Her guest replied without hesitation, "Unfortunately, this is exactly the reason why we had to introduce this martial law. Because the concentration of the Russian forces around. Therefore, we understand that the threat of full-scale military operation from Russia against Ukraine still remains."
bull crap. The only reason Ukraine wants to have martial law is because they want to try to give them the microchip. Let's quit being stupid here. Let's be smart. All right, get off the damn drugs, everyone. Start listening to everyone that knows what they're doing. Listen to me because I've got XCI and XNSA in my ear.
We see that Russia, for the first time over the 4.5 years since the Russian aggression started in Crimea and went on in the east of Ukraine, this is the first time when they are not hiding behind any little green men without insignia or behind so-called organized troops of the occupied territories. They are not denying their direct engagement in this military attack. Russia opened fire on Ukrainian boats, then seized them and their crews on Sunday. Moscow and Kiev have tried to pin blame on each other. Ukraine's top diplomat in Germany urged Berlin and other Western states to punish Russia by extending sanctions, banning energy imports and putting the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline on hold after Moscow seized the 3 Ukrainian ships near Crimea. World War I moment, guns fell silent at the end of verse. Russia said on Wednesday it planned to deploy more of its advanced S-400 surface-to-air missile systems to Crimea as tensions rose with Ukraine over Moscow's seizure of 3 Ukrainian Navy ships and their crews. Russia has steadily poured new military hardware into Crimea since it annexed it from Ukraine in 2014. Moscow's announcement about new missiles comes as it and Kiev tried to pin the blame on each other for the confrontation on Sunday. A Reuters correspondent in Crimea on Wednesday also observed a Russian Navy minesweeper ship, the Vice Admiral Zakharin, heading for the Sea of Azov, which is used by both Ukraine and Russia and is an area of growing tensions from the Black Sea. Ukraine introduced martial law in parts of the country after the seizure of its ships, saying it feared a possible Russian invasion. Russian news agencies cited Vadim Stafayev, a spokesman for Russia's southern military district, as saying that a new battalion of S-400 missiles would be delivered to Crimea soon and become operational by the end of the year. The deployment is likely to have been long planned, but the timing of the announcement appeared designed to send a message to Ukraine and the West that Russia is serious about defending what it regards as its own territory and waters. Crimea already hosts 3 battalions of the anti-aircraft missile systems, which have a range of up to 400 kilometers, 248.55 miles, allowing Russia to control large swaths of the skies above the Black Sea. The new deployment will allow it to increase its air defense coverage area. A Crimean court was due to order the detention of 9 of the 24 captured Ukrainian sailors, including senior Ukrainian naval officers and at least 1 member of Ukraine's SBU intelligence agency. Later on Wednesday, a court in Simferopol, the capital of Crimea, on Tuesday ordered the other 15 Ukrainian sailors to be detained for 2 months pending a possible trial. All of the sailors face jail terms of up to 6 years if found guilty of what Moscow says was a plot to illegally cross the Russian border by trying to pass through the Russian-controlled Kerch Strait on Sunday without advance notice and ignoring calls to stop. Ukraine says its ships did nothing wrong and have every right to use the strait, the only gateway to the Sea of Azov from the Black Sea, without Russian permission.
We have a draw, folks. Adam Bomb wants his butt. Let's see here. Just another person. Well, guess what? Just another person. You better have a city, a state, a face. I just don't have nothing for you, just another person that just friended me. I'm just another person too. I'm real. I'm not fake like you, coward. You're not coming onto my Facebook until you put a face, a city, and a state, and you don't supposed to look fake. You come back on my channel bringing some of that porn crap, stick it straight up your candy ass. Because I'll know where you're at after you send it to me. Yeah, well, he does. That's good. God and Jesus Christ lives. Bye-bye, Jimmy Pop. And I don't care. Jimmy Crack Corn and I don't care. Take it and stick it straight up your ass, you Satanist, atheist, Antifa, George Soros, dick sucker. And that's the bottom line, cause Stonewall 313 said so. Give me another sweet tea, screw your beer, screw your drugs, and screw your gangs, and screw your cops that's killing our Marines militia. Who's next? Alright, let's get here. Undivided aircraft goes down. No, don't worry about that one. Alright, here we go. More breaking news on warships in Ukraine. We're just everywhere, aren't you? Send warships. Ukraine leader pleads for NATO support as Russia ramps up Crimea. Yeah, that's great. Ukraine, pedophiles are asking for pedophiles' help. NATO. You really think you're going to make it? No. Russia's stronger than any army in the world, and that's the truth. They've got over 22,000 warheads.
Send warships. Ukraine leader pleads for NATO support as Russia ramps up Crimea tension. Ukraine's President Petro Poroshenko has called on NATO to send warships to the Black Sea after Russia seized 3 of his Navy's vessels in a violent confrontation off the coast of Crimea. Fears of all-out armed conflict between Russia and Ukraine are growing after Sunday's clashes in the strategic Sea of Azov, in which Russian ships opened fire on Ukrainian vessels before seizing them and capturing 24 sailors. A Russian cargo ship then dropped anchor beneath a new bridge across the Kerch Strait, blocking maritime access between the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov in the Ukrainian ports of Mariupol and Berdyansk. Mr. Poroshenko has now turned to the west to assist Ukraine and provide security. NATO has expressed full support for Ukraine, which is not a member state but has yet to respond to his latest plea for help. In an interview with German newspaper Bild, Mr. Poroshenko said Vladimir Putin wanted nothing less than to occupy the Azov Sea. He said, "Germany is one of our closest allies, and we hope that states within NATO are now ready to relocate naval ships to the Sea of Azov in order to assist Ukraine and provide security. We cannot accept this aggressive policy of Russia. First it was Crimea, then eastern Ukraine. Now he wants the Sea of Azov. Germany, too, has to ask itself, what will Putin do next if we do not stop him? NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg has urged Russia to free the Ukrainian ships and sailors and said Moscow should realize the consequences of its actions. He said NATO would provide political and practical support to Ukraine. The European Union strongly condemned Russia's actions but failed to agree on new sanctions against Russia. After 3 days of debate, the EU issued a statement expressing utmost concern about the dangerous increase of tensions and dismay at the unacceptable use of force by Russia. It called on Russia to release the ships and their crews and respect Ukraine's sovereignty. Poland had wanted new sanctions on Moscow, while Germany and France stressed the need to ease tensions. The EU and US have both imposed sanctions on Russia over its conduct towards Ukraine since 2014, when Moscow seized and annexed Ukraine's Crimea Peninsula after pro-Russian leader was toppled in Kiev. Moscow later backed pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine in a conflict in which more than 10,000 people have been killed. Major fighting ended with the 2015 ceasefire, but deadly exchanges of fire are still frequent.
Шестерка, раздел твердый знак 270, исполнено, четвертый прием.
As I keep on going down the line with the anonymous, breaking it down to everyone. By the way, do not, I repeat, do not take the vaccine shot and do not take the flu shot. It killed somebody today, folks. I tried to tell you there were chemicals in there. Bill Gates put them chemicals in there on purpose to kill you. He actually killed a senator. Yes, Bill Gates killed a senator, folks. That's what ex-CIA is telling me right now. Here we are, breaking news.
Pro-vaccine
I'm more anonymous. And we're rolling today.
receiving flu shot. The 47-year-old pro-vaccine senator was healthy before the influenza vaccine, according to doctors. He was an advocate for flu shots and had been promoting a local flu shot clinic on Twitter moments before his death. Jose Peralta was taken to Elmhurst Hospital Center in Queens, NY after becoming disoriented following a 2-week illness, which he said began after receiving the flu shot. Reports Mr. Peralta, a Democrat, lost his re-election bid in September after serving 8 years in the state Senate representing neighborhoods in Jackson Heights, Corona, Elmhurst, East Elmhurst and portions of Woodside and Astoria. A member of a Democratic group that caucused with Republicans, Mr. Peralta was defeated by Jessica Ramos, an insurgent from his own party riding a progressive wave. He was set to leave office at the end of December. Mr. Peralta was first elected to the state Senate in 2010 in a special election, defeating Hiram Montserrat, who was expelled from the Senate after being convicted of assaulting his companion. As a lawmaker, Mr. Peralta was a champion of the DREAM Act legislation that would allow undocumented immigrants to qualify for college tuition assistance. He also introduced bills to legalize hoverboards in the city and to extend the time that speed cameras are used in school zones. Mr. Peralta, a resident of Queens for 3 decades, began his political career there as a community liaison to the state assembly, the legislature's lower house. He went on to win a seat in that body and served there for 8 years. Mr. Peralta's campaign to become Queens Borough President was derailed in 2013 when he was recorded by a state legislator in her role as an informant for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The legislator, Shirley L. Hundley, was under investigation for corruption and hoped that cooperating with the FBI by recording public officials whom she suspected were corrupt would help her case. Mr. Peralta was not charged or accused of wrongdoing. Jose Rafael Peralta was born on November 10, 1971, in New York City to parents who had emigrated from the Dominican Republic. He attended public schools in Queens and graduated from Queens College, where he studied psychology and sociology and served as student body president. Though he had been ill for at least 2 weeks, he had been reluctant to visit a doctor, according to Chris Sosa, his director of communications. After much
Jimmy Pop, I just found out who you are. I like to think ex-CIA and ex-NSA telling me who you are. Andrew Collins from Ocala, Florida. Run. Jesus Christ is here.
prodding, he finally went for an exam recently, and he had a follow-up scheduled for December. It was like pulling teeth to get him to talk about not feeling well, Mr. Sosa said. He just thought he was having symptoms related to getting the flu shot. Mr. Peralta was at home with his family on Wednesday night when he became disoriented. He was taken to the Elmhurst Hospital and died there at 9:23 p.m., Mr. Sosa said. As news of the death began to spread on Thursday morning, his colleagues took to Twitter. Governor Andrew M. Cuomo called him a dedicated public servant and a relentless advocate for Queens. Adriano D. Espaillat, who was the first Dominican-American elected to Congress, called Mr. Peralta a loving husband-brother who adored and protected his family. And Mayor Bill de Blasio wrote on Twitter Jose Peralta was a proud son of Queens and the Dominican Republic. He worked his way up from the grassroots with heart and tenacity. Mr. Peralta lost the Democratic primary for re-election to Ms. Ramos by 10 percentage points. She went on to capture the seat in the general election. Mr. Peralta's defeat was fueled by anger against his participation in the Independent Democratic Conference, the group of breakaway Democrats who caucused with Republicans, effectively giving Republicans control of the Senate and preventing the passage of legislation mandating stricter gun control laws and protections for women's reproductive rights. The group disbanded in April, but 6 of the 8 former members of the IDC lost primary challenges as part of a wave of progressive politics that swept the country, particularly in New York. Ms. Ramos, on Twitter, said that while she disagreed with Mr. Peralta on many issues, he was a true public servant. Heavy checkmark Jessica Ramos. Jose Peralta is gone too soon. When I met him in 2003, I saw a world of promise for our community, though years later we'd disagree on tackling the issues. I know in his heart he loved his community. He was a true public servant. Strength, love to his wife, sons, and loved ones. Twitter adds info and privacy. Mr. Peralta had continued to serve his constituents after losing the primary. His Twitter feed showed him giving out turkeys at his office and promoting flu shots. He never stopped working. He was still doing stuff for the community, Tom Music, his campaign spokesman, said. A lot of people, after they lose, they don't keep doing the work. Heavy checkmark NYPD 110 PCT. Thank you, Senator Peralta, for supporting our community this Thanksgiving season. Twitter adds info and privacy. Mr. Peralta is survived by his wife, Evelyn, and 2 sons, Miles, 13, and Matthew, 21. Michael Morrison, who worked as Mr. Peralta's director of operations for 15 years, said he learned how much Mr. Peralta valued family while working with him. When my husband was dying of cancer, he let me work from home and spend our last hours together, Mr. Morrison said. I just wish Evelyn and the kids peace.
That's sad, guys. Like I said, quit taking the drugs from the medical or the hospitals, because I'm telling you right now, they're killing you. All right, breaking news. George Soros on the run. Really? He's been on the run. It's like trying to find where's Waldo. Yeah, he's on the run. Anonymous says. We're just on fire today. I told you I had a lot of news. Not stopping until the end.
There are some people in this world who are perceived as so manifestly terrible and disruptive to society at large that even people from vastly different ideologies and schools of thought can come together and agree that such people just need to go away. Leftist billionaire philanthropist George Soros is one of those individuals. While Soros is already generally despised by most conservatives and moderates in America for his work at destabilizing the nation through the funding of a plethora of progressive groups, it appears he has also now drawn the ire of Turkey for reasons that, at least on the surface, appear to be remarkably similar. The Guardian reported that Soros Open Society's foundation has announced that it will cease operations and completely withdraw from the nation of Turkey. The announcement came in response to an accusation from Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan that the progressive organization was attempting to undermine, divide and destroy his nation. The same sort of thing American conservatives accuse Soros of attempting to do. The Soros organization called the accusations baseless, of course, and asserted that the unwelcome reception it is receiving from the Turkish government has now made it impossible for it to continue doing whatever work it is that it does. The real reason the Soros-funded Open Society's foundation may have begun scrambling to extricate itself from Turkey is that it is also now reportedly under investigation by the Turkish Interior Ministry for alleged links to anti-government protests that occurred in Gezi Park in Istanbul in 2013, protests that the Soros organization denied having any involvement with. However, a key associate of Soros, indeed, the founder of Soros operations in Turkey named Hakan Altine was detained by the government along with a dozen other individuals a little more than a week ago as part of the government's investigation. Altine and the others were accused of providing support for a jailed civil rights activist named Osman Kavala, who himself stands accused of attempting to overthrow the government by way of the mass protests in 2013. Erdogan delivered a speech recently to local administrators in which he linked the recent arrests to both the 2013 protests and Soros. He reportedly said, "The person, Kavala, who financed the incidents is already in prison." The Turkish president then set his attention to Soros, and in the process revealed that there is likely a bit of anti-Semitism mixed in with his nationalist defense of Turkish sovereignty as part of the overall opposition to Soros. And who is behind Kavala? The famous Hungarian Jew Soros. This is a man who assigns people to divide nations and shatter them. He has so much money and he spends it this way, Erdogan said. The liberal media has recently embarked on a narrative that any and all criticism of Soros is rooted in anti-Semitism, and in the case of the Turkish president, that narrative is most likely at least partially correct. But concerns over extremely wealthy individuals utilizing their vast funds to foment division and unrest among the peoples of sovereign nations has nothing to do with that individual's religion, and instead is focused on the finance of subversive efforts to undermine patriotic nationalism and further the march towards socialistic globalism. As for the Soros organization, it seemed rather unconcerned to learn that it was being investigated by the Turkish government, and said in a statement to The Guardian, "These efforts are not new and they are outside reality." The organization added that it intends to apply for the legal liquidation of its assets and operations in Turkey as soon as possible. It will be interesting to see if the Turkish government allows it to liquidate and leave or forces it to remain and be held accountable, depending upon how the investigation pans out. As for Soros having to uproot his divisive globalist operations from Turkey, we can only dream that the same thing will one day occur here in America, as his financing of the progressive disruption to American society has been rejected by a substantial portion of the population.
That's pretty interesting. But you know how that goes, right? Let's go to the next one. Alright. Because I'm not done. I mean, I'm not even close to even hitting the freaking thing yet. I mean, it's a bunch of news today, folks. A bunch. Trump goes after the feds. Breaking news. Well, they're going underground. They're all together, if you didn't know that. Now you know. And no one's half the battle, G.I. Joe.
Business isn't defined by what's made or sold. It's defined by what drives.
Without question, both Donald Trump's economic policies have turned around a moribund U.S. economy that was on life support for most of Barack Obama's 2 terms in office. Annual growth rates now are averaging more than 3% per year, whereas Obama's economy limped along averaging below 2% GDP and never reaching 3%. Obama's economy was at least assisted and supported by the Federal Reserve. The central bank kept rates at zero and did not raise them for most of 44's presidency, finally raising it only once late in his second term. But early in POTUS Trump's presidency, for some reason, the Fed immediately began looking at raising interest rates. As early as March 2017, Forbes reported. High-level officials at the Federal Reserve have spent the last 2 weeks signaling strongly to the world that the Fed is going to raise rates at their March meeting next week. Before all the speeches by Fed officials, the markets were not expecting another increase in interest rates until June, but now the futures markets reflect over a 90% probability that an interest rate hike is coming at next week's meeting. With no major data releases during those 2 weeks, this leads to the obvious question about what changed the Fed's mindset. Unemployment, employment, labor force participation rates, and inflation are all relatively unchanged from before the presidential election. Since then, the Fed has raised rates 3 times. It now stands at the 2 to 2.25% range. And reports say that the Fed is considering raising rates again next month. Not only does raising rates make it more expensive for Americans to carry debt, it makes it more expensive for the federal government to carry debt. And higher rates also lead to a slowdown in the economy as borrowing becomes more expensive. Why would the Fed want to put a damper on an expanding economy? Why, when Obama's economy made its tepid gains, was the Fed not interested at all in raising rates until the end of his tenure? So far, I'm not even a little bit happy with my selection of Jay. The Washington Post quoted Trump as saying in an interview, referring to the man he picked last year to lead the Fed, as cited by Reuters. Not even a little bit. And I'm not blaming anybody, but I'm just telling you I think that the Fed is way off base with what they're doing, he added. His concern is that as the federal debt rises again because he can't get Congress to agree to substantial spending reductions, it is becoming more expensive to service as interest rates rise. And that can be an economy killer. Trump has called the Fed crazy and ridiculous. I'm doing deals, and I'm not being accommodated by the Fed, he added, correctly. The deep state's ongoing efforts to oust or undermine this president proves there are hidden forces at work behind the scenes to temper economic growth during his presidency as a means of undercutting his effectiveness, no matter how many millions of Americans are harmed in the process.
Sounds like they all are in it together, if you want to know the truth. Trump is getting rich on you. And he's laughing in your face. They all are. Like I said, I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican because they're all piece of shits. Alright, let's go to the next. That's the next one. Let's see here. Debbie. Are you out there? Is she out there? Anybody? Anybody see her? I've seen her story. If you have seen the thumbnail on my YouTube, that's Wormwood, folks. That's not the moon, and that's not nothing else. Debbie. Where'd you go? Where's it at? Where'd you go? I know y'all here somewhere. You know what? I bet you it's on my Facebook. I think I put it on there, didn't I? I think I shared your stuff on my Facebook. No doubt. James Brown, Bad New Brown versus the new WCW owner, Shane McMahon. Hope y'all are enjoying the show. I love giving y'all the real news while everybody else is asleep. Hey, I try to tell you, but hey, none of y'all wanted to listen. Your heart's about to fail, I promise you that. Well, where'd you go? Where'd you go, Debbie? Shoot, I don't see you. Did they kick you off already? That's not making no sense. Debbie, I think they kicked you off. They are not giving me your information again. Man, that's not good, is it? Kind of told y'all need to stay on the gaming. Told y'all. They're not playing with y'all, guys. I'm telling you. It's a sad situation, but it's true. Let's go to the next one. Can't find you. I don't know where you went. We've even got an earthquake in California. There's all kinds of news out, folks. Holy crap. Good grief. But Debbie has disappeared on my radar. Interesting. Okay, so let's go to the next deal. Seen that coming. They're shutting down the Truther Christian stations. It's about to get wild and stormy. Breaking news on Thor News. He's Thor, I'm Batman. Nice to meet you. Let's bring down the Joker. And by the way, if you did not know the reason all this weather's happening, it's because they don't want you to see Wormwood, and Wormwood is right in front of your face.
Of course, you know we got the finest breakfast you'll find anywhere, but have a look at areas for
Let's go to the next deal regardless. Son, have you driven a Ford lately? Boom. Look again.
where you reward me for all my hard work over the last month and these 6 years. And I super appreciate the opportunity of getting to bring you guys real hard-hitting news that you can use and inspiration and laughs where I can. I could not do this without you, and I would not do this without you. So I would appreciate all contributions and donations, because you guys are the thing that keep me afloat and fed. Now let us get into it, because it has been a wild looking jet stream rain band we got going on. And I am guessing that by all the hacking problems I've had this month, I must be doing something right.
Me too, buddy. Me too. But I'm actually not working for this slave people. I'm working for the man upstairs. And he's here, Jose. If you haven't seen my Wormwood video this morning, you might want to go look at it. Let's just say the man is here. Run. Oh, atheists, devil worshippers. The ones that's going to bury themselves alive in Colorado in Area 51. I can't wait till you die.
And so, one thing that I've been talking about, if you've been watching my channel for a while, those little heat spots that pop up, I've been watching that one because that one freaks me out. And usually when that happens, we get either earthquake or volcanic activity. And as I've been mentioning to you guys, I have been keeping an eye on the Caribbean, which had, I think, a 6.0 earthquake last week.
By the way, Jose Canseco, I've got another Facebook. I've been hacked 20 times in 2 years. And I'm still coming. like Michael Myers is killing the NWO. And ain't that something? Pretty interesting, huh? I used Michael Myers as the good guy to take down the NWO. New Facebook is Andrew Dwayne Jackson. You'll see it. I promise. It's got Roll Tide on there and Wormwood showing up on my profile.
Volcanic activity. I would not be surprised. We have islands over there. If we see volcanic activity in the future. And so, seeing that we're getting this new red spot, which I've never seen before, bubbling up around the area, don't be surprised if we see earthquake activity coming out of there, and then future volcanoes. But if you watch our atmospheric text, Arcalex, Mexicalex, Florida, East Coast, rain band is going crazy, and then we have our semi-hurricane-ish nor'easter pumping into the Nova Scotia, Canada, Greenland area. So I'm still a little rusty, but my knowledge is solid. And here we go. We got the old Eris spot facing us now. So look for more earthquake activity, and we will probably be getting hit by this fast-moving solar wind stream around the 30th or December 1st, which will kick our atmospheric WTF.
Pamela, Mississippi's not going to be there. I want you to know that, okay? I tried to tell you, Alabama, on the right side of Tennessee, is going to be there. I promise you. If you're in Mississippi, you're still in the middle of that split. Louisiana all the way up to Michigan. You got to look at my blue and white map. Stony Stone. It was not a bomb. It was an earthquake. Oh my, rest in peace, NWO, the real news. Why am I doing this? Because I am like the CM Punk. I am the voice of the voiceless. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. Everybody else that does the drugs and smokes and drinks are all asleep and controlled by the NWO. Why am I doing it? For the kids, the women, and I love making the naysayers my bitch.
A notch or two. So everybody be prepared. And then we even get that black box at the end that NASA likes to put up frequently because it doesn't think we can handle the information. So we have our, and this is the 6th time this coronal hole has come around. And if you've been with me for a while, you know that I'm big on planetary orbital momentum, which affects many things. And it's real. It's not like some fake kooky theory, it's a real science thing. And so by having all the planets so clustered in 2 areas, it is going to cause some disruption in our atmosphere and on the atmospheres of other planets. And so as I've been noticing, as the sun turns around, that hole is always kind of lined up with Eris. So it's just one other thing to point out. In California, I'm worried about you because you guys have rain coming in, and a lot of it, because the pattern has changed. And so, if we look at this, it's not funny, this is serious, but, we gotta have a sense of humor if we're gonna make it through this. I wanna say I'm proud of you for making it this far into 2018. And so you've got this rain stream coming in, then you've got another rain stream coming in, and then more rain stream coming in. And the models have been real hit and miss on what it does do. And we had that.
Pamela, don't listen to everything he says, okay? Okay? CERN has a new project, Ares. He's CIA, okay? Just listen to what he's talking about the weather. He knows nothing about the planets. I don't know why. But I just follow his weather. CERN Switzerland is pulling everything toward us, and Earth shield is weakening by the day. Just remember that. I'm trying to be honest with you. Some stuff he's good at, and some stuff he needs to go back to school with.
Giant fire in the burn scar area is giant. And so the one thing that I've been watching on these is that, I'll get into that in a second, but another thing that I wanted to show you, like how wild is the weather about to get? Well, this map, which I've showed a lot over the years, I don't ever remember it being this colorful all at once. And the wave after wave after wave reload pattern is reloading faster and faster. So you're getting storm after storm. And I've mentioned before that the old pattern used to be, because of the high pressure system, after the fire, by the way, the rain used to come up through there and then come down through here, and then the jet stream would push it down, and then it would kick back up and go out that way. But with our pattern change, it almost seems like a lot of that pressure was relieved. Fire, you know?
His donations, by the way, goes to smoke them if you got them. Drugs. My donations goes to kids. Children's Hospital. Hospitals. And cancer patients. Women, if you're giving this guy money, you're just giving him drugs. I'm not doing drugs. I'm pretty smart of what I'm doing. I'm giving my money to the ammunition, to the Marines militia, the real Wolverines. And I'm giving the money to cancer patients that has fibromyalgia and lupus. I'm giving it to giving my money to family members and kids that's not having toys this Christmas. I've got a job. That's why you don't see me get on until 4 o'clock time. This is my second job. And I'm doing this for my boss, Lindsay Trebet Nation, that had a birthday yesterday.
So now the moisture's coming straight through, pounding out, and then coming down. So it's a pretty wild pattern we're seeing, in my opinion. And then you got possible areas for tornadoes: Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, tomorrow, and possibly into the next day. And here's our crazy looking pattern.
He's not kidding, guys. Arkansas and Oklahoma, get ready for a hellacious tornado season in the fall, winter, whatever you want to call it. The seasons are so wobbled right now.
Thing, and that alone just looks crazy, man. And I don't know why carbon would continue to draw the same patterns. But we're not here to fight or argue. I'm here to give you guys a lowdown on what is happening. And so there's your bullet area for tomorrow, and I will be on top of everything for you. And now we're going to look at the models. And so the thing that I've been watching is, notice how there are almost tropical storm pressure systems coming into California, which is new. And it's almost like they're trying to wind up. Oh yeah, and around the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th of December, we're getting some pretty alarming rain bands that are working into Texas. So like, look at this splotch right here, man. Look at this thing. Oh, it's now purple. And another thing I've been pointing out is they used to cap this thing out at 24 at the red, right? 24 is the red. And so they added 2 new bars. They added, which makes, I guess, 26 and 28. So that's how much the situation is changing. They added in, because I always joked about how it capped out at 25 or 26, 24. And now they've put the cap at 28. So that just shows that the weather is getting more extreme and the rain is dropping in lakes from the sky at times. And so this is right over where I live, Houston, Texas. And this whole system, watch as it looks like it's going to dump an entire bunch of rain all across the same usual suspect areas. And then it chunks up, and this has it moving east, although some other models have taken it north. But if you look, and then you have heavier rains coming into California. Now this is into December, and here you have the entire West Coast from Canada all the way down to almost into Mexico, coated in rain or snow. And it goes as far deep into Nevada. So our wild weather pattern is coming back after we got a little bit of a reprieve.
And when did it come back for? Well, we haven't seen the wild weather since October the 25th, when Wormwood showed up again. Now, we're here between November the 20th to December the 20th, and Wormwood is back. You see where I'm coming from, folks? Thor News is not telling you the truth. I am. And every time you have the crazy weather from the Rothschilds and the Illuminati, I'm giving you the real news. While everybody else is washing their tots or their panties.
And did I don't know if I don't remember correctly, but I thought earlier today someone said there was a chance for tornadoes in California. That could be wrong, I don't know. But I was like, what? I don't remember hearing about a lot of California tornadoes in the past. Anyway, so we see our first storm.
No, but ex-CIA is telling me they are, and ex-NSA Edward Snowden said it's coming, and an F6 is coming, and F7 is coming for Las Vegas and California. It's even in a movie, folks, that just come out last year called Geostorm. You ever seen the big movie on sci-fi with the tornadoes? I'm just giving you heads up. The Rothschilds are working overtime, and I'm working overtime more than they are right now. Seriously, I'm 7 minutes overtime, and I got more to give you. That's how crazy it is, folks. Just hold your horses. If you don't want to watch wrestling, just turn it off and put your headset in or whatever and listen what we're doing. If you don't like wrestling, if you don't like NASCAR, that's fine. I had to do this on purpose for camouflage so you could get the truth. I'm going to die for y'all. I'm going to die for these kids and for my grandfather that fought in World War II. I don't know what y'all are going to do. I'm going to do it because I'm telling you, when they come in this house, I'm not surrendering. And I'm not going to be like David Koresh hiding in a freaking house.
This is in like the first, and so it isn't going to be as bad as the one that follows, but still it's going to be tracking over a lot of the areas, making them very moist, so that the next storm that comes through will have potential to do major damage. All right, I haven't watched this one, so we are going to watch it together. You and I must make a pact. We must bring salvation back. Says we, oh yeah, and the United Kingdom, Europe, you guys are getting slammed. Someone said you guys had a potential of getting over 200 millimeters of rain and some pretty heavy, serious winds starting, I guess, today and tomorrow. But the storms that are going to be hitting us look like they will be heading straight to the United Kingdom and the European areas. Again, like rain.
The city of pedophiles, which we're going to get into that today too. I'm telling you guys, I'm not done. I may even have to do another video. I'm not stopping. I am not stopping. We're running out of time. I will tell you that much. Let's just say the earthquakes are getting worse in California.
After rain, after kind of on weird weather high alert. And as I've been saying for 6 years, the public has been getting their ass kicked for a while, and corporations have been racking up record profits. So now would be a great time for people to put aside their differences and work together for these weird earth changes that are happening.
He is right. We all need to work together. But not for your drug habit, Thor News. Just like Stony Stone and all the other jackasses that I have been shutting down by pedophilia.
And we'll continue.
But I don't think Thor News is pedophile. I think he just has a drug problem.
To happen. If my orbital angular momentum theory is correct, and I'm pretty sure it is, the next 6 years are going to be filled with extreme weather, erupting volcanoes, and earthquakes. Now, it's not doom, but we are going to have to prepare. We're going to have to adapt. I've been talking for...
That's the chemicals from China. They ordered over 50 million gallons of chemicals. Okay. I just want you to know that the red dust is not even close to us yet. Okay. The red dust is still way off. It's still in our it's in our solar system. Don't get me wrong, but it was in Fukushima. Just want y'all to know that. Okay, guys. So yeah, good question, good answer, Gail. I know you're a follower and everything, and if you want to follow me on my Facebook, that's Andrew Dwayne Jackson, Calera, Alabama. Boom. Mic drop. You do see it? Yeah, I believe you. Go to my video that I did this morning. You're going to be shocked. Wormwood is here, and so is civil unrest. But we're going to fight against these NWO pedophile elites.
For a while about building cities of the future in safe places. And after Stan Lee died,
not all white people are upset with African Americans. We're actually working with some of them. I'm sorry that y'all got to see what happened in Hoover, Alabama last week. That was an absolutely joke. I felt like I was watching Car 54, Where Are You, with Gunther and Tootie. But they didn't know where they were at. I'll tell you that right now. That's the first time I've ever seen the police department make a big mistake in Hoover, because they usually are better than that. But Robert Rector's from New York, and he's a crisis actor. And welcome to George Soros's world of me.
build a city of heroes and name it after Stan Lee. I think it'd be a great idea. And people have said, like, oh no, the new...
Oh, and if you did not know this, Marfugel went to jail for what he did on YouTube. But he's back. Just thought you might want to know that. Now he's not talking about fear-mongering. He's talking about something else.
World order wants to build new cities. It's like, well, the old cities we've got are made where the traffic is for like the 40s, so you get stuck in a petrocentric environment where the whole thing is designed to burn as much of your gasoline as it can. The whole road systems, the highway systems. So you either can build new cities from scratch.
New roads or new systems. They're only making the bridges for these big Red Star tanks coming in, like the movie Red Dawn.
Some of the new technologies, we're going to build them anywhere close to the coasts. So, the choice is either take a step into the future together. And think about it, even if all the cool people were like, hey, let's go build a city together. And then if you build part of the city, you own part of the city you build. There are a lot of things that could be done to get people to work together. Technically, continents, and that the people who wanted to be workers and builders could help build and own things together. But, we can work that out. At this time right now, everybody's still fighting and arguing about dumb shit that don't really matter, as we have the weather ratcheting up its weirdness. Did I say all that very well? I don't know. Mercury is in retrograde. Corruption problem? No way. Mercury is still in retrograde, which affects human communication. So if I talk like a dipshit, it is definitely Mercury's fault. You know what I'm saying?
No. Nobody's perfect. I know I'm not. Hell, when I'm making a mistake, I go back to my YouTube and say, hey, I made a mistake, but I'm hitting all home runs on the weather because of Mr. ex-NSA Edward Snowden, the hero of the world.
Oh, and I did a video. We have a comment 46P Ortonen, which will be the 10th closest comet in the last 50 years to planet Earth. We might be able to see, and comets always make things a little extra crazy. I think they've made a movie about it. But look at all these rain bands. They're kind of hunking and chunking together. So you got them coming in from the south, you got them coming in from the north, and this is the easy stuff. It's about to get wild. And here is our Easter basket of severe weather map. Oh yeah, and it's cold and freezy in a lot of places. Here's today. There's 2 days from now, as the giant system will move east. And then, looking at the water vapor, the Earth has done again and again, and that's how the coasts got carved out. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. And so, hurricane season officially ends in like 2 days. Thank God. Although we'll still be on watch because everything is weird. But for the second year in a row, I predicted we would get hit by 2 or more hurricanes. And technically this year the U.S. got hit by 3 hurricanes. You had Florence and Michael. And then there was something like U2 that hit U.S. territory out by Hawaii. And another thing, I predict, was it off the alignment of Eris, that we will get a 10th. All right, so I'm calling my shot almost a year in advance to test my theory out. We got hit by Michael 9 days before the Eris alignment, and so I'm sticking to my guns. I mean, as far as I know, I'm one of the only people who was totally accurate 2 years in a row on hurricane predictions preseason, and so 11 months out, I'm calling it. That, yep. We're going to have, I don't know where it's going to hit. We can try to figure that out later. We now have 11 months to prepare for next hurricane season. What we got? Okay, so yeah, this is the big chunk of precipitable water that will be moving in to California. And the maps on this stuff has been pretty sketchy as far as what will go where. So I will be on top of it for you guys, but to see all these isobars so close together, you guys are going to get some pretty heavy winds too. Anywhere from 50 to 70 miles an hour would be my guess as far as strongest gusts. But the rain will probably not clear out until Friday.
The chill bumps. I can't see who's watching or who's liking or disliking. It's gone again. But I want to know how many people's got the chills for December the 1st when Trump heads to Argentina and Air Force One disappears. Or Mike Pence disappears into migrants in Mexico when they inaugurate the dictator president? Who's the best in the world? I called it, folks. If it happens, you better be ready. Just keep on.
Don't give up. I'm not giving up, man. This has been the worst year of my life. And this month, they were messing with me so bad, but I have never felt stronger, cooler, or more awesome. And I'm going to try harder and smarter. And there's no way I'm giving up. You know what I'm saying? Because the universe works in unexpected ways. I'm trying to find you guys something. Solar radiation. Lots of billionaires. All the way through Saturday. I know what I'm looking for. Martian trees. Martian Christmas trees. Everyone here. This was from last night.
Start talking about Martian Christmas trees. I keep on thinking you're an idiot and you're on my list when you say stuff like that. Seriously. Martians are fake. That's aliens. Somebody just asked me that on Messenger. Can't even fucking message them back. Who are you? On YouTube, and strangers don't even know you because you need to know the truth.
This HGH gel is going viral. Email me at victoriouslibertas@protonmail.com. Good morning, folks. Let's do a little math. Let's talk about this migrant caravan a little bit. Migrant caravan. This is from CBS News, October 21st. October 21st. Remember that date. Migrant caravan swells to 5,000 in Mexico with members going to...
Forget it. You're with the fake news, CBS, Illuminati. Calls for UK law.
Rape victim in the...
Yeah, this is what I expected. Rape victim call. Oh my God, really? This is pissing me off. Just hold on, guys. I'm having issues. Just hold on. And get the fuck off my damn shit. Don't ask me stupid questions. Who are you? Alright. Rape victims. Calls for UK law. Change admit. Claims attacker may get to see her child. And by the way, that was the migrants that raped them. Enjoy.
Rape victim in the... granted access to...
Myself, my son, the man that raped me, and Rotherham Council, and the fact that my rapist has been offered by Rotherham Council to apply for full custody and parental rights.
An unusual case getting quite a bit of traction here in the UK. A victim of child sexual exploitation has waived her anonymity and come forward demanding a change in legislation following revelations that a man who had raped her as a teenager, as a result of which she became pregnant and had a child, was approached by a local council. The child.
Just hold on. I can't even answer the dang Facebook phone because they don't understand that I'm kicked off until December the 28th. People are trying to get a hold of me, guys. I don't know how to explain it. They know that I know that I'm right. I'm sorry. People are trying to really do. You can blame Facebook.
Rape victim in the UK is demanding a change in the law after the man who assaulted her was told he could be granted access to her son, who was born as a result of her ordeal.
This story is about myself, my son, the man that raped me, and Rotherham Council, and the fact that my rapist has been offered by Rotherham Council to apply for full custody and parental rights.
An unusual case getting quite a bit of traction here in the UK. A victim of child sexual exploitation has waved her revelations that a man who had raped her as a teenager, as a result of which she became pregnant and had a child, was approached by a local council to basically see if this man wanted to be part of the child's life. The man in question was put behind bars 2 years ago to serve a 35-year sentence for multiple sexual offenses against 9 girls in the area, including that woman, Sammy Woodhouse, who Rotherham Council invited him to potentially seek visits with the child. The man did not go for this offer and did not seek such change in legislation. This is what a local MP had to say on the matter.
Appalling example of the law being set up either to favour the perpetrator or to actively work against the rights of abuse survivors and the consideration they should be afforded.
The Ministry of Justice is
They're still trying to get out of me. Can't do nothing about it either. But if you want to know the truth, the UK is pedophiles. That's why Russia's coming to blow their heads off. Just thought you might want to know that. To get their heads blown with the truth. But half of you can't even handle the truth. It actually saved you with all the earthquakes and all the other, all the asteroids and meteors. Let's keep on.
Currently investigating whether this took place due to an error or whether there's potentially a wider problem behind this. We have also heard from the council, who said that they were basically just following guidelines. So there's lots of questions to be addressed in this area yet again, with this story now coming to the forefront.
Well, we spoke to some people.
Should be in prison for the rest of his life.
Absolutely disgusting, and it's so horrible.
I think it is disgusting. There's no else I can say. Just disgusting. It's disgusting.
The police would be frightened to death to do anything in the past, and they're still not doing it now.
It's absolutely incredulous. The fact that they think it's acceptable to approach a convicted rapist and ask him if he wants access to a child. A British activist Sarah Ahmed says the rights of the victims must come first.
The interest of the child is paramount. The case is centering around the child visitation of the child. In the best interest of the child, that to his mum, father, do survive rape, because that's what they are survivors of rape. We can't talk about it enough. We do need to lift the lid open on it and examine what happened. You have to look at the bigger picture. It is still happening. We do need prosecutions. We do need parents to speak up and say, yes, our daughter was a victim. In the English community, the English families, they will go and they will seek prosecution. But within the Asian community, where it does happen and it's still rife, their groomers are protected by their own community because they are chained. Prosecutions aren't there. Lessons have been learned, but they are not being acted upon.
So, therefore, they're in trouble. They're in deep shit. They're in deep doo-doos, if you want to know the truth. Let's see here. What's next? I told you I had a bunch of news. I'm not even done, guys. I promise you. I'm not even close to being done. Let's see here. Already did that one. Yeah, we already did that one. Okay, let's check this out.
Folks, everything you want under the sun.
You're gonna hear some beeping in the background from my UPS. The power is out here. We have a massive no power. I'm working on backup power right now. So a great little opportunity to kind of experience what I think times will be like in the near future. Should the economic collapse occur, there's the aforementioned beep. Should the economic collapse occur, we're going to see probably some Mad Max type scenario in North America. I fully expect that. I fully expect grids to be down, and you have starvation and famine because grids are down, because transportation routes are down, and you're going to have to survive, I think, for a while before the world government steps in and gets set up. You're going to have to and probably martial law. I think these things are coming to Western countries when the economy does collapse. It's there's not a strong chance that the switchover from the U.S. dollar being the world reserve currency to the mark of the beast system, whatever the next fiat currency system is, there's not a large chance that is going to be a smooth transfer. And usually these sorts of things trigger war as well. So you could have a move into war, but you're going to have probably maybe rotating power supply and a lack of food on the grocery store shelves. So all sorts of things could potentially be coming. Power just seems to have popped up now. But I'm going to do two articles quickly because I don't know how long the power will stay on. The update on the peace plan. It's interesting because I think all articles these days, eventually point back to Israel, Jerusalem. You can kind of tie them all back to how they relate to Israel in the last days. And I don't know if you could do that. A convergence seem to have a thread of Israel, a way you can connect them to Israel, interestingly, because about all the armies of the world will be gathered against her, as if she, the land of Israel, the people of Israel, the Jewish people, will be the problem of all the troubles in the world. And certainly that's what people will think. That's what people already say. They already say all the world's troubles are because of the Jewish people, and all the world's wars and conflicts are because Israel exists in the land. And they said if we can just get rid of Israel, then we will have peace in all the world. That's really what they believe. They believe Israel is the purpose, is the reason, rather, of all the trouble. Well, this is and completed, so it's done now, and it's supposed to be unveiled by early 2019, so it was put off because of the potential elections that were coming. Danny Danon doesn't know if U.S. proposal based on two-state solution says timing ideal, as it will likely be before Israeli elections. This is from the 27th, 2 days ago. It goes on here. Is it gonna? Let me see. This is Khashoggi. I don't want to read Khashoggi. This is timesofisrael.com. Donald Trump's administration has told Israel that it will present its long-awaited Israeli-Palestinian peace plan early next year. So they keep putting it off, and so hopefully we'll sell proposals. As far as we know, it says soon. We don't know the details of the plan, but we know it's completed. So I'm fascinated to see what this actually entails. Will this be the peace plan that is enforced by the Antichrist? We don't know, but I think it's very fascinating. I mean, if anybody's going to make a deal, it would be fascinating if Trump was the one. He's the one who wrote the book, The Art of the Deal. And if anyone was able to bring this together and make this deal happen, Trump would be a key guy. He seems to be known for this sort of thing.
He is the key guy.
It said the ambassador said early next year, a rollout of the peace plan will allow Trump to present it without interfering in our political debate in Israel. So the timing is a big deal. Israel will come to the negotiating table to discuss the plan, Danon said, but the Palestinians will try to block it even as the United States tries to bring other key countries such as Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Jordan on board. Of course, those are countries that have some sort of peace treaty, peace plan, or are at peace in general with Israel right now and don't actually want to destroy it at this point in time. So what is the U.S. administration doing to bring the Palestinians to the table? Well, they're cutting money from the Palestinians. Trump said in September that he for the creation of a Palestinian state. So we have a two-state solution, a dividing of the land of Israel, and of course we know that biblically, God doesn't like that. So my worry is what's going to happen to the United States if Trump is able to push this peace plan through. If it works, we know peace is coming. But then on the other hand, what is going to happen to the United States because the peace plan is implemented? And I think they're going to be removed from being a nation, certainly removed from. And I believe that's the easiest way to do that is by complete and total economic collapse. You can drop conventional weapons and nuclear bombs on countries and kill lots of people. Economic collapse would hurt everybody nearly equally, and that would really destroy a country. So that's the peace plan. I'm going to put that link in the description. The other thing I wanted to look at quickly is this one. This is a Zero Hedge article, European gas stations out of diesel. Now, I did a video about how this points to Israel because Israel is now has a plan to make a natural gas pipeline to Europe, but also I believe they're going to start supplying Europe with diesel and other energy formats. And this is going to undercut in there with all their massive gas reserves, all their blessing in the last days, and starts undercutting and taking Russia's profit. That will be a hook in the jaw, which says to Russia, we better go take it Israel, otherwise we're going to lose all the profit that we're making from our oil reserves, and our oil reserves are being depleted. We don't have very many oil reserves left. So we need to go take the riches, the spoils of Israel. And Ezekiel 38, that's exactly what that says. The questions from the countries that aren't involved are saying, have you come to take a spoil? Remove SB off spoil, you get oil. But energy and diesel, but this article seems to describe that situation. It says diesel is in short supply in Europe. The situation is about to worsen as the biggest French refinery is shutting down. This is the sort of thing that could trigger an economic collapse in Europe, and which would spread to the whole world. So there's so many points of potential failure, trigger points in terms of economic collapse, and this is just one more of them. This says, today, Total SA, France's biggest refiner, is in the process of shutting its 1,000 barrel a day Grandfernville facility in Normandy due to a labor dispute. So this is part of the riots and the protesting going on. It said a few hundred miles away in the Netherlands, retail fuel stations are running out of oil supplies because shipping constraints on the Rhine, according to Royal Dutch Shell plc. Shell said November 20th that it cut production at its Rhineland refining site, the biggest complex of its kind in Germany, due to low water levels on the Rhine. In a tweet Tuesday, the company said that it was temporarily unable to supply some unmanned fuel stations in the Netherlands. And I think Israel is going to come to the rescue, and they're going to say, yeah, assault. They are the world leaders in desalification. Is that the word? Desalification plants, removing the salt from the water and making it drinkable, usable water. And so I think this is a perfect play, if you will, for Israel to come in and say, yeah, we can supply you. We got lots of water because we make our own water. Gas stations in Germany have already been running dry. So you have this huge energy shortage, fuel, natural gas, and Israel with its massive natural gas and oil reserves to the rescue. And boy, this is going to anger Russia, and I believe that's exactly what we're seeing, and this is exactly playing into end-time Bible prophecy. And this is a hook in the jaw, if not the hook in the jaw, that really turns Russia around and says, all right, Israel's taking away all our profits, we can no longer pressure Europe, and we can't supply Europe as much as Israel can. Israel's going to completely undercut us and take all our profits, which is going to drive our economy into economic collapse. So we better do something about it before that occurs. And I think this story provides that exact plot, basically. The premium for barrel of diesel over Brent crude, another indicator of market strength, was at $15.96 Tuesday, the highest for the time of year. This is where Israel comes in and says, "Look, we got natural gas reserves. We've got some oil. We'll start."
And what did I tell y'all in May was going to happen? Gas and oil was going to skyrocket as we got closer to Christmas. And it's going to get worse. When the big earthquake hits, I promise you, you're going to feel it on the East Coast in your wallet. $20 a gallon.
Providing them to you at a lower price, and they can ship them. They've got a waterfront on the Mediterranean. They can ship oil to Europe and supply. So the shutdown cannot possibly come at a worse time for French President Macron. And again, Macron is a very interesting guy. Macron is already reeling over a protest of his diesel tax. So yeah, the French guy who commented on my video said they're protesting over diesel tax, but it looks like we have significant diesel shortages as well. The image there is diesel protests in France turn violent. People across Europe, across France rather, went to Paris to let the president know how they feel about taxes in general and tax on diesel, as diesel is actually decreasing. Macron proposes shutting down diesel in short supply, one energy source, and now he's looking at shutting down nuclear power. How is he going to replace all this? I think this is all pointing to Israel, that Israel is going to supply Europe in the last days, and that's going to infuriate Russia, the current major energy supplier to large parts of Europe. And they're going to come, and because they are running out of oil supplies themselves, they're going to march on Israel, who has the largest, latest discovery of natural gas and oil. And they're going to march on them and try to take what riches they have. And the Bible says Israel will be rich in the last days. They will be prosperous. They will be a peaceful people living in unwalled villages. And that's the country, and that's the people on which Russia and God made. Guys, I think the closer all the news headlines happening in the end times. I'll leave it there, guys. I think these are significant, and I think we are getting close to the return of the Lord. But before that, some hard times are going to come. Looks like my power is back on, so that's good. And that means I have to work today, unfortunately. It would be nice if I had a snow day, but I don't. But do you know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? He's coming soon, but before that, the hard times are coming. The Bible predicts all these things that are coming upon the earth. I believe things planned for the last days and how the environment's going to react. The environment and the atmosphere and the world and nature reacted in a certain way to bring about the events of Noah's flood. And I believe we're seeing the wind up of the world and the natural situation winding up in such a way that it's going to fulfill God's purpose on the planet for the last days. And the final judgment is with fire. So I believe that solar maximum, which is going to come out after this massive solar minimum, is going to assist, if not be the cause, because in the last days we know that scorching them, a rebound, which is going to be the rebound from this massive solar minimum, all of which, both these solar minimum, solar maximum, are going to be causing famines in the land, and pestilences. The fluctuations of the temperature are going to be causing these pestilences to come upon the land. You can see all these things. Everything the Bible says happening in the last days is occurring, and we can see all the events occurring that kind of cause the end time prophetic scenario to take place. So the stage is set. Not only is the stage set, the stage accordingly according to end time Bible prophecy. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll leave it there. Please share the video. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
He's pretty good. I actually just started watching him today, believe it or not. I've been searching for new truthers because the other truthers are disappearing because they're not telling the truth. Yep, that's the truth, and yeah, I'm going to stick to that one. Technical difficulties for Mark Dice. Mark Dice getting hacked. He could be another guy saying Republicans are not the fault, just Democrats. I think they're both the fault, and that's why he's getting knocked off. Here you go. Check this out. Enjoy. And please keep on subscribing, liking, and sharing, because I'm telling you right now, guys, I'm not going anywhere. They keep on knocking me off. I keep on coming back for more. I want them to slap me in the face, because Carmen had the biggest slap in my face in 2014.
What's up, guys? I apologize, but I don't have a video today. Mystery. So I will be uploading this from my phone, either over the cell network, or I'll be just connected to one of my neighbor's Wi-Fi's. And this really sucks because there was some great news today, because Sloppy Daniels has thrown Michael Avenatti under the bus, saying that he filed a defamation case against President Trump without her knowledge or consent, which she lost, which she is now liable for Trump's legal fees for. And she says that Avenatti set up the GoFundMe page also without her knowledge. Oh, what a surprise. The good news is, since my cable is also out, I won't be subjected to having to watch CNN. I also wanted to dive deep into the fake news from the London Guardian. Several times, Leaks is denying it, also threatening to sue for defamation for the fake news. So it appears that this is some yellow cake uranium document level fake news put out to perpetuate the myth that there was some collusion between the Trump campaign and WikiLeaks. Comedian Kevin Hart is also under fire from the social justice warrior psychos because he held a cowboy and Indian themed birthday party for his son, which of course is a violation of the cultural appropriation rules. And so the full vlog style video just using my phone about all this madness, since I can't pull up the internet articles on my laptop like I usually do. But I figured with my internet being shut off, I would just do a digital missed a video in probably like 2 years, so I just didn't want you guys to think that something shady was going on, even though something shady may be going on, but I'll be looking into that. So hopefully I'll be back on schedule for a new upload for tomorrow. It's times like this, when the electricity goes out or when your internet goes out, that you realize how much we rely on this technology, which is way too much. So I'm kind of glad that it happened. Gives me a little bit of time to just kind of step back and crack open a good book, some of which you can see on my shelf behind me. And speaking of books, hope you guys will pick up my new one, Liberals and Find a Cure. The ebook on your tablet or your e-reader. So check back tomorrow, and hopefully things will be back on schedule. So thanks for all your support, guys, and I will see you soon. Hopefully.
Well, Mark, you've been eating the red pill, and you need to eat no pills. Okay, buddy? Oh, Mark, I know you got 1.3 million views or subscribers, but you may lose all of them, just like BP Earthwatch and all the other channels, because you're not on gaming like me. I'm trying to warn you, Mr. Mark Dice. You need to wake the fuck up. Or, shall I say, CIA. Just found out you're part of CIA. Edward Snowden told me. Oh, let's keep on. We're not done. Cold War. Mentally needed, they say.
I just feel so blessed.
Mentally needed? British ex-army chief calls to revive it to deal with Russia and Iran. Well, we really don't need war. But since You pedophiles wants a war. Ways. Because the poor is going to win this war, Jack.
Still found this program. Without this program,
needs to rediscover the mentality that helped to win the Cold War and deal effectively with emerging threats like Russia and Iran. We asked people in London what they thought of that.
There certainly are tensions, there's no question about it. More tension than there have been in the past. I'm not sure I would go so far as to say it's a new Cold War.
Any mentality like that is an absurdity.
I don't think there is a threat.
I don't think we live in a Cold War.
I wouldn't class Russia as a rogue state. I really wouldn't. I mean, I know some of the things that goes on there is, debatable. I wouldn't class them as a rogue state.
I'd question what his angle is. I presume this is with regard to pushing for additional
which suggests that a new unit should be created to assess enemy capabilities, while also looking at the British military's ability to respond. It would be similar to a US structure that existed in the 19... a diversionary tactic.
This is redolent of a British political establishment that is in deep and unremitting crisis over the chaos it has wrought, over its mishandling of Brexit, but more importantly over the social crisis it has wrought, over its implementation of austerity over the last 8 years. It's an inordinate and grotesque waste of British taxpayers' money at a time, as I say, when so many people, a fifth of the entire population, are suffering grim poverty in the run-up to Christmas. This is a ruling class onto a life raft because that is all they have in order to sustain their position. There are always enemies to be vanquished and countries to be slain. Russia is a traditional enemy of the British people. Their enemy are the very people who are telling them that Russia should be their enemy.
Sounds like they're full of shit because Russia is the strongest army in the world, no doubt. Shit, if you've seen what I seen 2 days ago on my YouTube channel, you wouldn't even argue. But hey, that's you, right? You always want to argue with somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing. Alright, here we go. This is not what I was expecting, and this is breaking news out of Ivanka Trump.
Hey guys, Doug Charles.
Yeah, breaking 10 of thousands migrants expected to flood the border. Ivanka Trump shocked. I'm not. Y'all put them out there. You did it, rich people, on purpose, because you've got guns and vehicles for them to try to take our freedom. Trump is from Scotland. Obama is from Kenya. Wake the fuck up.
Here, keepandbear.com. Have you heard the news lately?
We've heard a lot of news.
How devastating to see the images and seeing children.
Oh yeah, it's devastating, Ivanka Trump, when y'all paid them millions and millions of dollars to storm the border with brand new iPhones and charter buses to come down here, not to travel 400 or 40 days or 40 nights or whatever you want to call it, because I know what your plan is because I've got ex-NSA telling me what the plan is, Jack.
Arrested and many more were tear-gassed at the Tijuana border after attempting to enter the United States in a violent way, according to the Mexican Interior Minister Alfonso Navarrete and Border Security. The San Isidro border crossing point was temporarily closed as a result.
Running towards the border is breaking. There's no other. makes me angry that we haven't been able to come together as a nation and change our laws.
A chaotic border clash with choking tear gas fired by U.S. agents left Central American migrants sullen and dejected, with some opting Monday to leave and others worrying the incident may have spoiled their chances at asylum. Mexican security forces stepped up their presence at a Tijuana sports complex where thousands from the migrant caravan had been sheltered, seeking to avoid a repeat of Sunday's ugly scene. Police blocked the migrants from walking toward the border in the morning, though later on they Isauro Mejia, 46, from Cortes, Honduras, went looking for a cup of coffee to shake the morning chill following another night sleeping outside after being caught up. Isn't so sure. He said, with the difficulty that has presented itself because of yesterday's incidents, that's the way. Migrants hoping to apply for asylum in the United States must put names on a waiting list that already had some 3,000 people on it before the caravan arrived at Tijuana. With U.S. officials processing fewer than 100 claims a day, the wait time for the recent arrivals stands to take months. That has instilled a sense of desperation among many after their grueling trek from Central America. Sunday's incident began after hundreds marched to the border to try to call attention to their plight. Some attempted to get through fencing and wire separating the countries.
As more migrants start arriving. There are 8,000 of them in the city so far, and they've all arrived here in less than 2 weeks.
Brand new group of migrants getting out of a truck in Tijuana. Expect 10,000 migrants at our doorstep.
Bushes. The 13 world banks, the Federal Reserve, all wants you to lose your freedom. And they're ISIS, the migrants. The Venezuela, Honduras gang rapists. I mean, here we go. It's going to be the Royal Rumble of our lives. Are you ready? Are you ready to throw them over the top rope? Or are you going to give up? Because I'm not.
Going on at Harvard right now. We tend to think of
so authorities enough because it has been a flood of people and there are still more people expected to come. Another 2 caravans are on their way in Mexico, so another few thousand people could be arriving here in the next few months.
In total, there were 6,060. 1,127 women and 1,058 were children. But look, they're all tired. They're all frustrated.
They're not tired. They're not frustrated. They got charter buses from George Soros. Shut up, fake news.
Running out of patience, and that's why Luis Conde, one migrant from Guatemala who has an arrest record in the U.S., says he's going legal or illegally to get over there regardless. Listen.
Anyway, it's the same because I don't go to the
Mexico's National Migration Institute reported that 98 migrants were being deported after trying to breach the U.S. border. The country's Interior Department said about 500 people attempted to rush the border, while U.S. authorities put the number at 1,000. U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Kevin McAleenan said 69 migrants who tried to cross illegally were arrested on the California side. He said the Border Patrol's use of force policy allows agents to use tear gas and other non-lethal methods, but the incident would be reviewed. As the event's dangerous situation, McAleenan said. Mexico's Foreign Relations Department said it had presented a diplomatic note to the U.S. Embassy asking for an exhaustive investigation of the use of non-lethal force. Migrant Yanira Elizabeth Rodriguez Martinez said she, her daughter and her sister had stayed away from Sunday's demonstration because they feared it could turn dangerous. Sitting in their makeshift camp at a sports complex Monday, the 38-year-old asked what the process would be if she decided to return to El Salvador. Because of the actions of a few, we all...
Remember, guys, they raped the women and the kids. The migrants did it. So if you're going to be stupid like European, then get the fuck out of our country. But if you want to fight with us, we welcome you. That's all I got to say. And if you're a naysayer and you keep on subscribing and unsubscribing to my channel like you have been, I'm going to have ex-NSA find where you live like I did.
Hello, a 20-year-old friend said it could be more difficult now. In a rare criticism, Mexico's National Human Rights Commission admonished migrants that they should respect Mexican laws and not engage in actions that affect the communities they pass through. It is important to note that the fact the Mexican government protects their rights does not imply a free pass to break the law, it said. Commission official Edgar Corzo Sosa said after visiting the shelter Monday that the space intended for 3,500 is now crowded with more than 5,000 people. He said officials were receiving a number. He said a beefed-up police presence was for the migrants' safety. There is nothing to prevent them from leaving the shelter, Corzo said. They are free to come and go. The clash also led U.S. authorities to shut down the nation's busiest border crossing at San Isidro, California, for several hours Sunday. Mexico should move the flag-waving migrants, many of whom are stone-cold criminals, back to their countries, Trump tweeted Monday.
That's all good for Mr. Trump. He likes to tweet because the 13 world banks tells him what to do. Stupid idiot, and you're on our list.
Do it by plane, do it by bus, do it any way you want, but they are not coming into the U.S. wall. Trump has repeated.
That's the plan. Oh, holy cow! It's reverse psychology. If they bring everybody in there and everybody votes for the wall, you pretty much closed yourself in there. That's the plan. Duh. Just like the Berlin Wall, just like the China Wall. They're just going to lock you in here like communists.
Suggested without evidence that the migrant caravans are full of hardened criminals, but they appear to be most.
But we will not allow our generosity to be abused by those who would break our laws.
Oh, right. You've been breaking the laws all your life, George. Or George Soros Jr., Donald Trump. You've been having sex with kids and your daughter. You stupid fuck. Just keep on bringing in the illegal immigrants. Keep on bringing them in like they've been doing for years, like the Democrat president and the other Republican president. Shut the fuck up, you Scotland piece of shit.
Defy our rules, violate our borders. uncontrolled immigration is...
Yeah, we won't allow it. But you just paid them off to come to the border, you stupid fuck. Oh, yeah. Chaos in America, right? George Soros. We got your emails. We got your emails, Trump. We got your emails, George Soros. You've been emailing each other. You said he's going to jail. He ain't done a damn thing. That's why Trump and Putin is not getting along. Because you didn't listen. And you gave out them fake bombs in that fake ass van with the fake ass stickers on October the 25th. You were involved. Because you get the person that put them fake bombs. You're to Obama. It's a mirror. It's the same guy. Same person. They're both together. Period.
Especially unfair to the many wonderful, law-abiding immigrants already living here who followed the rule. They've done everything perfectly. And they're going to come in. At some point, they're going to come in. Many cases, very soon.
We know they're coming in. With your millions and millions of dollars. And you put $88 up for your election? Sure's funny. You say that you were going to die. That means you're going to be in a fake death. I'm not stupid, old man. I'm probably the smartest dude online.
We need them to come in. Because we have companies coming into our country. They need workers. But they have to come in on a merit basis. And they will come in on a merit basis. Communities are often left to bear the cost and the influx of people that come in illegally. We can't allow that. There's societies. Every day above and beyond our existing lawful admission programs, roughly 1,500 to 2,000 people try crossing our borders illegally. We do a very good job considering the laws are so bad. They're not archaic. They're incompetent. It's not that they're old. They're just bad.
And Obama said he wants to win the war on... Sure is funny. The migrants are coming around Christmas. Hold on. I'm not even done yet. Trump, he funded all these migrants. They want chaos in America? Climate chaos? You? While we're trying to save you. Makes you want to say, Hubba, 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 hubba. Who do you trust? Me? Or your stupid fucked up government that don't give a flying fuck about you?
And we can't get any Democrat votes to change them. It's only the Republicans that are...
Wait a minute. Democratic votes? Republican votes? They're all together. Remember, Donald Trump got a blue tie. And he's called himself a nationalist. Nationalist is world leader. No. And he's been going to everywhere in the world but helping the United States. Now he's heading to Argentina. And Ultimate Warrior would say to Hulk Hogan that NWO, we're just going to push that airplane all the way down. It's going to crash all the way down. And when you bring that plane all the way down and you go into the ocean and you disappear, Trump, Pelosi will open the gates of hell and bring in the New World Order. And we're the Stinger, and we're going to Scorpion Death Drop the NWO. Pelosi, you're going to wish you never showed up in the White House. Because the Marines militia, 26 million of us, is going to take them out. And I am the craziest.
In unison, they want to change them.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Mr. Trump. You shouldn't be called Kermit the Frog. You should be Miss Piggy, because you look like Miss Piggy in a suit. Jim Henson would love you because you're nothing but a puppet to the world leaders. And I got news for your world leaders, your world rich bitches. I'm Robin Hood, and I'm taking the gold to the poor.
Numbers of people to get out.
We're getting them out by the thousands. We're going to get them out by the thousands. Well, guess what? Got news for you. Putin is coming to us. He said, do not. He said, repeat, do not get rid of your guns to your government, because they are not your government no more. It's run down by the EU, and Putin wants to save you, and he's going to, and he's coming. Him and China. Yeah, how about that? China government's pedophiles, and they're ready to blow their heads off. That's right. Russia's coming. Russia's coming, America.
Plans to build a new
Let's keep on.
World War III readies for new clash by building new missile detection station. Russia has unveiled plans to build a new military facility in Crimea amid growing fears that fresh armed conflict is about to erupt in the volatile region. Security sources said the Kremlin will construct a missile early warning station on a disputed peninsula which Russia annexed from Ukraine in 2014. The new radar station, which will be able to track ballistic and cruise missiles from a long distance, is based. Interfax news agency reported that Russia was also working on a new technical system to allow it to better track shipping around the peninsula in order to protest its maritime border. Says 3 Ukrainian naval vessels on Sunday and captured 25 Ukrainian sailors. A defiant Kremlin announced it would deploy a new battalion of S-400 surface-to-air missile systems on the Crimean Peninsula by the end of the year. The deployment is likely to have been long planned, but the timing of the announcement appeared designed to send a message to Ukraine and the West that Russia is serious about defending what it regards as its own territory and waters. Crimea already hosts 3 battalions of the anti-aircraft missile systems, which have a swaths of the skies above the Black Sea. The new missile deployment to Crimea would allow Russia to increase its air defense coverage area. A Russian Navy minesweeper ship, the Vice Admiral Zakharin, has also been spotted heading towards the Sea of Azov. The sea is home to major ports of both Russia and Ukraine, and can be reached only through the Russian-controlled Kerch Strait, where Russia seized 3 Ukrainian Navy vessels on Sunday over what it said was their illegal entry into Russian waters. President Vladimir Putin said the ships were clearly in the wrong, dismissed the clash as a minor border issue, and accused Ukrainian President Petro tradings. He said it was without doubt a provocation. It was organized by the president ahead of the elections. The president is in 5th place ratings-wise, and there's martial law. Kiev has introduced martial law in parts of the country, saying it fears a possible Russian invasion. Speaking in northern Ukraine, Mr. Poroshenko, who has accused Moscow of naked military aggression, talked up his country's readiness to respond to any future Russian military action. He said, "It's important to keep our powder dry and be ready at any moment to push back the aggressor." The US and the EU have both imposed sanctions on Russia over its conduct towards Ukraine since 2014, when Moscow leader was toppled in Kiev. Moscow later backed pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine in a conflict in which more than 10,000 people have been killed. Major fighting ended with the 2015 ceasefire, but deadly exchanges of fire are still frequent.
If you want to know the truth, the martial law is for their microchip they're trying to put in on their people. But I don't think they're going to do it too well, because I've already heard Ukrainian people, and just like we're going to fight our government. So just thought you might want to know that. This is going to be fun. I've always wanted to pick a fight with the NWO pedophiles.
Position, he continued.
Here we go. Breaking news, the Caravan just made its scariest move set. Interesting. Let's see what they did. The crisis actors.
The Caravan just made its scariest move yet. Thousands of illegal migrants are on the U.S. border. The Caravan is trying to flood into the U.S. illegally, and they just made their scariest move yet. The Caravan are in the border town of Tijuana, Mexico, and more are arriving every day. President Trump, the city's mayor, and the people of Tijuana are rejecting them. Thousands of locals in Tijuana are marching against the Caravan. They are chanting Mexico first, agreeing with Trump's assertion that they are an invasion. Signs saying things like "No illegals" are commonplace. The mayor of Tijuana was even seen sporting a red "Make Tijuana Great Again" hat. Demonstrators sounded a lot like President Trump in their opposition to the Caravan. Tijuana is a place that welcomes anyone, but you must have papers, you must identify yourself, said one demonstrator. We were things to migrants when plenty of Mexicans are in a difficult position, he continued. And as this is going on, the media is defending the Caravan. They claim it is filled with women and children simply seeking a better life.
Well, the media is the NWO, and they're the Mockingbird Media News that did the 9/11 plot. I mean, we had ex-CIA and ex-NSA come to the news to give them the story what happened to the 9/11 buildings, and they pretty much pushed them out of the way. So you decide what you think. Looks like to me, I cannot wait, and I'm not going to be. I cannot wait to see a news helicopter get blown up by Russia.
But after their latest move, that is harder than ever to believe. The Caravan begins a violent push. The Caravan is getting an icy welcome in Tijuana. The city has historically welcomed migrants, but the rejection of the rule of law from the current wave of migrants is clear. They are proving that with their latest move. Over the weekend, the Caravan began rushing the border. They threw rocks at Border Patrol agents and tried to force their way through the border fence. Border officials had to shut down the border for some time. In fact, Trump threatened to close the entire border if need be. Whom are stone-cold criminals, back to their countries. Do it by plane, do it by bus, do it any way you want, but they're not coming into the USA. We will close the border permanently if need be. Congress fund the wall. Border Patrol and the U.S. military are taking action.
Speaking of Congress, they're about to go underground, but they're going to say that they got arrested. I want y'all to know that. Okay? Because remember, after Congress and the president and vice president disappears, White House gets blown up, Congress will be underground by then.
Stop them. Tear gas has been deployed, and Mexican media is making excuses for them. Even the Mexican government understands it is a dangerous situation. And they know that President Trump is right. Could be avoided by having a wall on the border.
The wall is George Soros's plan. See, you get it? The Caravan, the migrants and everything are coming to the border because they want a wall. Think about it, folks. By the way, I just found this out. The migrants is not even close to us yet. What you're seeing on the news is Mexicans trying to jump over the border. The migrants ain't even gotten here yet. and I don't even think they'll be here by at least another 2 or 3 weeks.
Top campaign promises and one of the main reasons he is president. But so far he has not been able to achieve it. Democrats and weak-kneed Republicans have been blocking him on every effort. Do you support building a wall on the border? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.
No, because I mean, why? Just get people to stop it. That's what they need to have. That would be their job. I mean, quit being so damn lazy. People needs to work. Quit it. I know why they're trying to stop us from working, because they want us to have the chip. I got news for you, man. Feel good on them. All right, breaking news on this.
Count one.
Yeah. Out of Florida and Illinois. Interesting.
Breaking news out of Florida and Illinois. Emmanuel D. Abdon, 31, a resident of Florida, was found guilty by a federal jury of enticement of minor count 1 and travel with intent to engage in illicit sexual conduct count 2. On count 1, Abdon faces a term of imprisonment of not less than 10 years imprisonment, but not more than life, a term of supervised release of at least 5 years to life, a fine of not more than $250,000, and a special imprisonment of not more than 30 years, a term of supervised release of at least 5 years to life, a fine of not more than $250,000, and a special assessment of $100. The evidence Abdon, then 30 years old, traveled from Florida to Troy, Illinois, to meet and engage in sexual intercourse with a 13-year-old female. Abdon visited the minor female's house on 3 separate occasions. He was arrested in her driveway on his last visit to her house. The offense came to light when a 14-year-old friend of the victim, who was present during the first meeting between Abdon and the victim at the victim's house, told her foster mother about her concern that an adult male would travel from Florida to Illinois to meet a 13-year-old girl. The foster mother then contacted the Troy Police Department, who immediately or about December 22, 2017, until on or about January 13, 2018, the defendant met the victim online and through text messaging, FaceTime, and Snapchat attempted to persuade, induce, entice and coerce the minor victim to engage in sexual activity with him when he arrived in Illinois. State and federal law enforcement will use every available resource to protect the community from those who lurk in the shadows of the internet seeking to prey upon children, said United States Attorney Stephen D. Weinhoft. Weinhoft credited the work of the Troy Police Department and the Bureau of Homeland Security investigations for their work in this case. The case is being prosecuted by Assistant United States Attorneys Angela Scott and George Norwood. U.S. Attorney's Office, Southern District of Illinois. We want to thank all the brave men and women WHO have dedicated their lives to keeping our country safe. God bless America.
Yeah. You mean Babylon? This ain't America no more. It hasn't been America for the last 10 years. You want to know the truth. This is what I've been trying to tell you. This is what I reported yesterday during Wormwood showing up on the live cam. Check this out.
Greetings, citizens of the
And Anonymous is announcing it now. Breaking. Hillary Clinton. Remember that, folks. Y'all don't understand. The Clintons and the Trumps have been best friends. If you don't wake up, you're going to be in a FEMA coffin. I'm not. I'm underground.
World. President Donald Trump retweeted a meme from a fan account showing Bill and Hillary Clinton, John Podesta, Barack Obama, James Comey, Eric Holder and others behind bars, during an active Twitter spree Wednesday morning. The meme also showed Special Counsel Robert Mueller, former Hillary Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta, Clinton herself, her aide Huma Abedin, former FBI Director James former President Bill Clinton and the meme have played a role in either the special counsel Rosenstein presidential election. Rosenstein's inclusion in the meme is particularly noteworthy because he currently serves as Trump's own deputy attorney general. Rosenstein appointed Mueller nearly a year and a half earlier and oversaw the investigation for almost its entire length. The deputy attorney general no longer is in charge of the probe after Trump fired former attorney general Jeff Sessions. The president's retweet of the meme followed an angry missive on the progress of special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation, saying, "While the disgusting fake news is doing everything within their power not to report it that way, at least 3 major players are intimating that the angry Mueller gang of Dems is viciously telling witnesses to lie about facts and they will get relief. This is a..."
Oh, by the way, if you did not know this, Mueller and Donald Trump was eating dinner a couple of weeks ago together. Oops, pop bomb.
Our Joseph McCarthy era. Trump has also tweeted his incense that Mueller's team is not focusing on the allegedly illegal dealings of Clinton and her associates, noting, "The Mueller witch hunt is a total disgrace. They are looking at supposedly stolen crooked Hillary Clinton emails, even subpoena." The fake news media builds Bob Mueller up as a saint. When in actuality he is the exact opposite. He is doing pride and not the other.
It's showtime, folks. This is the final match. And I'm still got news out of my yin yang here. Breaking news. 4.0 on the Richter scale in California. Looks like the Riverside. Are we getting somewhere, guys? I told you it was coming. Now they dropped. Interesting. California. You want to listen? You're going to be underwater. Excuse me.
California earthquake. Earthquake U.S. and Mexican cities. The earthquake struck California at 5:48 a.m., waking up many residents in the south of the state and northwest Mexico. One resident said on earthquake tracking website EMSCCSEM. A third said, "I heard the earthquake will increase fears for the big one. A long overdue powerful earthquake which could wreak havoc on the U.S. West Coast. For major events, with magnitudes of 7 or greater, California is actually in an earthquake drought. California is located on the Pacific Ring of Fire, the most geologically active region in the world. More than 90% of earthquakes occur here, as well as 22 of the 25 biggest volcanic eruptions in history."
Thank you for watching.
Folks. Here we go, more news. Oh, shoot, this is just in. Oh, was I right about Obama? I was, wasn't I?
Democratic.
Thank you, Anonymous, for breaking down Obama again. Breaking news. Just in, Obama used tear gas against migrants 80 times. Media silent. Told you they were going to kill the migrants too. Nobody's safe. Antifa, atheist, sexual harassment and threats. You didn't listen to me.
Migrants 80 times, media silent. At least 1,000 migrants attempted to illegally cross the border, which prompted Border Patrol agents to deploy tear gas to stop the stampede. It worked, but Democrats are freaking out and are accusing President Trump of war crimes for deploying the tear gas. Democratic lawmakers and immigrant rights groups blasted the tactics of border agents. There's just one problem Obama did.
And what did Obama do during the Panama City, Florida hurricane? Mother of all bombs. He signed the executive order on it. And you keep on saying Trump. And I tried to tell you there was more than one president running the show.
The exact same thing. In fact, Obama did it almost 80 times. Where was the outrage then? There was none. The media didn't even report about it. The Daily Mail reports that the tear gas used on migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border at the weekend, which prompted criticism of President Trump, was also used almost 80 times under the Obama administration, according to Homeland Security data. Critics of Trump had denounced the action by federal agents as overkill when they used the tear gas to repel a crowd of migrants that included angry rock throwers and barefoot, crying children. But for a month during the later years of Obama's administration, that tear gas, known as 2-chlorobenzylidine malononitrile, was used by U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents a total of 126 times since 2010. The chemical was used at the border 26 times in 2012, 27 times in 2013, 15 times in 2014 and 8 times in 2015. The data doesn't provide details of each incident, including the locations or size of the groups targeted. There is barely any footage or photos of the tear gas being deployed under the Obama administration. Trump faced backlash after photos emerged of migrants being targeted at the border, including a woman.
And who's doing all the on the people in Syria? Barack Hussein Obama's ISIS. You're welcome. Let's keep on. I'm loving this story.
And 2 young children running from the tear gas. He kept to a hard line when defending its use at the San Diego-Tijuana border crossing on Sunday. They were being rushed by some very tough people and they used tear gas, Trump said Monday of the previous day's encounter. Here's the bottom line: nobody is coming into our country unless they come in legally. At a roundtable in Mississippi later Monday, Trump seemed to acknowledge that children were affected. Why is a parent running up into an area where they know the tear gas is forming and it's going to be? He said it was a very minor form of the tear gas itself that he was assured was very safe. So there you have it. Trump won. Obama's 76. Nuff said. God.
Both of them were in the same spot. Shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, guys. But yeah, it's looking interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Told you Trump and Obama has been meeting together at restaurants along with the other people at Mocha, California, underground having sex with kids. Let's keep on.
These 2 men are...
Okay, breaking news. Police searching for 2 thugs who attacked blind man and service dog in this state.
Attacked blind man and service dog in this state. These 2 men are accused of shoving and threatening a blind man and his service dog on board a train in Washington, D.C. Metro Transit Police. Washington, D.C.'s transit police are seeking warrants for the arrest of 2 thugs accused of shoving and threatening a blind man and his service dog after he accidentally bumped into them while entering a crowded train, Fox News reports. Metro Transit Police say the incident happened Monday morning and have released images of the suspects, one of which was seen wearing a band-aid just below his left eye. Police say the blind man boarded a train at the Rhode Island Avenue station during rush hour. The 2 individuals pictured here in connection with an assault of a blind passenger this morning on the Red Line near Noma have TPD 696,875 WMATA. Seeking to ID MTP.
Okay, they're bringing in, this is what the situation is. That video is telling a little bit of lies there. And if I hear a lie, I kind of shut her down. I'm tired of lies, aren't y'all? I want the truth. What I found out is them 2 guys was from a gang. It is 2 African Americans, but not all African Americans are bad. Next deal, USNC holds briefing. This is big. Ahead of closed door session on situation in Syria. Now, I've been waiting on this.
At Wave, artists come first. And for artists, it's all about reaching fans and music industry.
2332 of 2016, 2393 of 2017, and 2401 of 2018.
And if you did not know who that is China's president talking. An American. Interesting, huh?
Mr. President, distinguished council members, I provide this update today on behalf of the Undersecretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and the Emergency Relief Coordinator, Mr. Mark Lowcock. I would like to start with the situation in northwestern Syria, where there have been reports of mortars, including some shells reportedly containing chlorine gas, hitting 3 densely populated neighborhoods in western Aleppo City.
Wait a minute, more chlorine gas. Obama, ISIS. Let's keep on. Which, if you want to hear the rest of the story, you'll have to come back and subscribe, hit that bell, and on either that channel or Rest in Peace NWO or the other 3 channels that I have that's very anonymous and it's got over 70 million subscribers. Ding.
Nile Street, Khaladia, and Zara. People with respiratory symptoms were rushed to the 2 main hospitals in the area. WHO has provided support to both hospitals and stands ready to provide further public health support as required. As the Secretary General has repeatedly stressed, any confirmed use of chemical weapons is aberrant and a clear violation of international law. We have also received 25th November, the first such airstrikes in more than 2 months. These latest developments demonstrate the fragility of the situation and the urgent need for sustained engagement by all sides to preserve the gains of the agreement which was reached between the Republic of Turkey and the Russian Federation on 17 September. The stakes remain high, as the alternative is a humanitarian suffering on a scale that would devastate a population of some 3 million people in northwestern Syria who have known nothing but war and suffering in recent years. Mr. President, in Rukban, between 3 and 8, able to reach some 50,000 people, 3/4 of them women and children. This aid operation, approved by the government of Syria and facilitated by the Russian Federation and the United States, was the first major delivery of material assistance to the people of Rukban since January this year, and the first time that aid has been delivered from within Syria. Our teams also vaccinated more than 5,000 children together with officials from the Syrian Ministry of Health. Colleagues returned shocked from what they saw on the ground, reporting grave protection issues, increasing food insecurity, and no certified medical doctors among the stranded population. Given the gravity of the situation, the Secretary General has, without sustained access, the situation of tens of thousands of Syrians stranded in the harshest desert conditions will only further deteriorate as the winter cold sets in. Most people inside the makeshift settlement have stated a desire to return to their homes, but many are terrified of what the future may hold for them, whether it is in government areas or locations held by non-state armed groups. A durable solution that is safe, voluntary and dignified, one that adequately addresses protection concerns, is urgently needed for the population in Rukban. Mr. President, we are seriously concerned about reports increasing in number or governorate. Many civilians are reported among the dead and injured. Some 6,000 have been displaced from ISIL-controlled Hajin enclave since October, with an estimated 10,000 people remaining inside. Most are unable to access assistance and face severe protection risks. Of those who have been displaced, many live in dire conditions in makeshift settlements, with some dangerously close to the front lines. Despite considerable challenges in accessing areas of displacement due to insecurity and geographic isolation, local UN humanitarian partners have continued to provide assistance to IDPs in the Goranich and Bahra areas. This We reiterate that under international law, parties to the conflict must protect civilians against attacks, treat them humanely, and allow and facilitate the delivery of humanitarian relief. We are also deeply troubled by reports of restrictions in northeastern Syria, where half of the some 100,000 children enrolled in government-run schools are facing impediments in accessing their schools, especially in Kamishli and in Hasaka cities. An estimated 10,000 children have not been able to attend school at all since late September. Vehicles, including school buses and private cars, have been prevented from crossing checkpoints if they are carrying children going to school. The United Nations has been engaged in efforts with all concerned parties to advocate for children to be able to go safely to their school of their choosing. Across Syria, the conflict continues to have a devastating impact on children, including their access to education. An estimated 180,000 teachers are no longer in service, some 40% of schools have been damaged or destroyed, and many others have been used to shelter displaced people. All Syrian children have a right to education without discrimination, and this must be protected, respected, and fulfilled. Mr. President, despite the very difficult conditions, the United Nations and its partners are committed to reaching almost 5.4 million people were reached with humanitarian assistance each month through all possible avenues, from within Syria to access to areas under government control, from within Syria across conflict lines, and from across the borders. Mr. President, cross-border aid remains a critical part of the United Nations response in Syria. This month alone, nearly 600,000 people in Syria have received United Nations food assistance delivered across the border with Turkey through the crossings of Bab al-Salam and Bab al-Hawa. Cross-border deliveries also include medicines, educational supplies, and other non-food items for completed the vaccines against measles and rubella in Idlib governorate, using supplies that were delivered across the border. Thousands more benefits. UN cross-border assistance is checked and verified by the United Nations monitoring mechanism at designated border crossing points. Every truck is checked to ensure it only contains humanitarian supplies. Deliveries are confirmed by UN-contracted third-party monitors upon arrival at warehouses inside Syria. They check the items being offloaded against the waybill. Then there is post-distribution monitoring again, including by independent third parties, and through feedback received from affected communities. UN cross-border and the delivery agencies, which also includes another verification system. Mr. President, currently some 4.3 million people in need live in areas outside the control of the government. That accounts for more than 1/3 of all people in need of assistance in Syria. It includes almost 3 million people in need in areas exclusively reached through cross-border operations. The United Nations does not have an alternative means of reaching these peoples, as access from within the country is impeded. It is for that reason that the Secretary General has called for a renewal of Resolution 2165 for save lives. Millions of people depend on your decision. Thank you, Mr. President.
I now give the floor to those council members who wish to make statements. I now give the floor to the representative of Kuwait.
That's pretty interesting because Syria has been attacked. Trump and Putin, we kind of eavesdropped on their little conversation they had over the summer because the only reason our government is over there in the Middle East is because they want to steal everybody's oil. That's why everybody in the world is after us. That's why martial law is coming. And that's because if you don't, you're going to be George Soros's bitch. That's just pun intended right there. Plain and simple. If you're George Soros's bitch, you're Hitler's bitch. Because they're boyfriend and boyfriend. Just thought you might want to know that. George Soros is a stupid fuck. And we're going to stop him. With or without your help. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. I told you this was going to be a long show today. And my man, Sting wins. Y'all have a nice day. Be safe. In peace, NWO, the real news. If you don't, you're not going to get the real news. Have a nice day. Be safe. And the trollers and the bullies and the sexual harassment threats, rest in peace.